that? What do you want to hear repeatedly on the radio this year?
Something that sounds like music I already listen to, but with different words.
Dunno really. Oh, if it's on, I'll listen to it.
Loud guitars, tattoos, anything else is a bonus.
Alexa, unmute the TV.
The bottom line by Terrell. Magic gain of 43. Well, the safety's going to come up, just running one outside from the middle target. Independent catching concentration for Matthew Golden. He is so good down the field.
That was a good hit, too.
Coach has told us his hands are incredible. Big time splash play. Moving the chain. Back to the rushing attack. Weisner.
We got wrapped up.
In front of the ball on first down. Back to Golden. One of the best big play receivers in all of college football. And he's got 8 touchdowns on the season, which led the team second in the SEC. Had 162 yards in defeat of the SEC title game. Now this is the area of the field where Texas has struggled this year. On the cusp of the red zone or in the red zone. They got all the momentum right now. Okay, Clemson gonna stop. Weisner carries. First down.
Here we go.
Oh, the corner, Jaden Lucas. Cameron Williams just getting work done. He's our Barrett Carter. He's just going to pave a path, open a big hole up.
Bienvenido a McDonald's. ¿Puedo tomar su orden?
Yo quiero un arequipe frappé.
Para mí, un café frappé.
Un manjar blanco frappé para mí, por favor.
Entonces, ¿qué van a pedir?
¿Me das 4 dulces de leche frappé, por favor?
Como sé que le digas, es un dulce de leche frappé y está en McDonald's por tiempo limitado.
¿Me pasas un popote, por favor?
O sea, un pitillo.
Para papá.
En McDonald's participantes.
Your red zone problems go away when you run the ball. This Texas
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like finishing your lawn and successfully matching all your daughter's baby socks together on the first try.
a veteran Kelly Banks, an award winner, but Jake Majors,
You
a
matched
veteran.
each and every
Maybe
one of
getting
those
work done
tiny
here
socks.
this
I mean,
afternoon.
has this ever happened in the history of laundry?
82-yard drive took about 2 minutes and 57 seconds off the clock.
Enjoy the moment, Dad.
21 unanswered points by
Yep,
Texas.
switching and saving with Geico feels
Watch
just like
DJ
that. Get
Campbell
more
and
with
what he's
Geico.
about to do here. And then you're going to see Jake Majors get on the second level and secure a massive hole and yet another touchdown on the ground for this Texas offense. It's been an incredible start for Texas running the football. All horns here early. Yeah.
hear the sizzle that you're hearing right now. Standing all those blades up to your mouth. You're making me hungry.
It's that time of year when animals come bearing gifts. Random trucks enter your town with artificially generated people to hold up artificial sodas for no reason. The perfect time to give real and Transevia naturally delicious soda with zero artificial colors, flavors, sweetness, and zero sugar. The choice is clear. Time to break out of it and try something real. Zevia. Delicious. Delicious.
Get a great deal on the vehicles that winter is no match for during the Jeep Wrap Up the Year sales event. Shred snow with the most capable Wrangler ever. Spread price with the most affordable SUV. Or winter your way in the most affordable SUV ever. Hurry in now for an additional $500 holiday bonus cash at the Jeep Wrap Up the Year sales event.
Right now during the Jeep Wrap Up the Year sales event, get $7,500 total bonus cash allowance on 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland and Summit models. See your local Jeep Grand dealer today.
Just what you're looking for.
Gary, it's what drives us at Yark Automotive Group. So much so, we created an entire program around it. Yark Cares, included with every new and pre-owned vehicle. It's not just a rewards program that saves you money down the road. Yark Cares also ensures exclusive member benefits like paint protection, tire protection, and more. So your vehicle is covered for all of life's unpredictable miles. See how much we care with Yark Cares at Yark Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Bruce Roth.
And I'm Lisa Roth of Quality Overhead Door.
A lot has changed over 40 years.
But our quality and service remains the same.
The leaves are falling, and so have our prices during our Fall Back to Savings event.
It's 10% off select premium Clopay garage doors.
10% off select Liftmaster belt drive openers.
And 10% off your next service call.
Time is running out on these savings. Don't miss out.
Save 10% on your next garage door, opener, and service call.
Quality Overhead Door.
Where we sell the best and service the rest.
It's days. Nothing like a run game to help the quarterback who have been struggling with turnovers. He's only had to throw it 7 times, completed all 7. A lot of high percentage throws with the exception of that one deep ball. 122 rushing yards already for the Longhorns.
A dominant start this first half. And Wes Goodwin's going to have to make some adjustments defensively and find a way to stop the bleeding against the run.
Adam Randall did not have a carry this season until 2 run plays on the last possession and barely gets to the 20. Great kickoff coverage by Texas. Smarter decisions brought to you by NerdWallet.
But when you run the football, and sets up the play action pass. A couple of play action passes that when you were taking advantage of, Texas really loves to utilize the play action. You're going to put the football down the field to Matthew Golden, and then once you set up the play action, get back to physical downhill running. They complement each other so well.
And now a huge drive, Dusty, for Clemson. Down 21-7. You wondered about the health of Phil Mafra. We haven't seen it in a while. And David Ezeomumi, a true freshman at running back now, going to run the ball. And gets dropped at the 27, but a good run on first down of about 7 yards.
This is a huge part of the rushing attack. Kate Klubnik, quarterback draws.
Alexa, mute the TV.
Obviously, we've seen it.
Okay.
You got a little. Bye. Stop. Let's see. Let's look up. Notepad. I'll put Notepad over here. Just a little bit condensed version. I gotta figure out what I want to do. Ah.
Hello, everybody. At least those on our Patreon. How we doing tonight? Hope we're doing good. Goblin. You messing with doggies. Does Texas have the ball again? Wow. What happened? Gonna go for it on 4th down. Why not just stomp on them? Quentin Ewers. Does he get there? No, he does not. Wow. Well, you got a 14-point lead. Why not? Okay. Dun 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 dun. Oh, is that done? You're gonna sit in there for a bit. Of course. Yeah, you're gonna sit there for a bit. Trans-Siberian Orchestra is really good. They're really good.
Save big this holiday season. All in the Kroger app. Buy
Oh,
2
we
get
love
3
the
free on 12
advertisements.
packs of delicious Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Then get a flavorful Kroger spiral sliced ham for 89 cents a pound with an additional $25 purchase. Limit 2. All
That
with
was
your
An
card.
Angel Came Down by
Shop these deals at your
Trans-Siberian
local
Orchestra.
Kroger, less than 5 miles away. Or click the screen now to download the Kroger app to save big today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Prices and product availability subject to change. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He
Oh
came out of
my
school
God,
for
now it's
Toyota
LinkedIn
and
ads.
said he was a big ROAS
Oh,
man.
blah, blah,
Then he
blah,
told
blah, blah,
everyone
blah,
how much he
blah,
loved
blah, blah, blah,
calculating
blah,
his
blah.
return on ad spend.
Blah,
My
blah, blah,
friends
blah,
still
blah,
laugh
blah.
at me to this day.
Blah, 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 blah,
Everyone
blah,
gets
blah.
B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance?
Hello.
It's like finishing your laundry and successfully matching all your daughter's baby socks together on the first try.
That's another microphone.
Fire truck socks. Socks with those cute little strawberries.
Socks, 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 socks.
Every one of those tiny socks. I mean, has
What's
this
that?
ever happened in the history
Huh?
of laundry?
I said on the holidays. Oh no, because
Done.
Enjoy the
like,
moment, Dad.
let the dog in. It's like great, and oh,
Yep,
what's my brother
switching
doing
and
here?
saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more.
Oh, you decided to show up, huh?
Yeah, I dropped off some. I was like, I gotta get going. He's like, oh, you have your thing. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, we got a thing
Like, oh,
going.
sorry about that.
Well, that's all right. It's only a Patreon thing, so
Well, it's also
recording for next week, right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know why. Now I know why you want to go early because I looked at when the game was starting. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock.
won't-
I'm like, we're going to go about 3 hours. So
Yeah. No.
something
yeah.
like that.
Oh no. I think maybe 2.5. I think I'm trying to stick to 90 per.
Yeah,
That's what we're
yeah.
I think there's enough
yeah.
on there. So we'll do the top games of 2024 first.
Right.
And then we'll do the 2025 in review, which I put in there for some.
Right.
So that would just basically be we'll review all of 2025 game list, then we'll talk about predictions, and then because that way it'll keep it concise talking about because there's a lot of games next year. I realized once I read a couple of those articles you sent down. Oh, Texas came back.
Dude, Texas has been running the ball. It was just run, and Texas took over the game.
Well, they were losing. It looked like they were going to get blown out.
Well, it was 7-0 because Clemson went right down and scored, but Texas stuck right with it.
Ewers is not that good.
But he is enough with that running attack to make some damage in the bracket.
These are really good cookies.
Uh-oh. You got cookies. I didn't bake
Yeah, it's,
anything yet.
They're thumbprint cookies, a little flourless, or not flourless, but no, they are flourless. With cherry vanilla extract.
Really?
So it's chocolate cherry flavored. Really good.
All right, I gotta stop these songs. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here to all of our Patreons.
Now recording.
Then there you just heard Craig. Hello, Craig. Because we're going to be doing 2 recordings tonight. And Texas got the ball back again. Didn't they? Yeah, they did. Uh-oh. Got a couple people down.
Muff punt, though. We got it back.
Yeah, they got it back. But right now there's 2 injured Texans.
Oh, did you see what happened? Speaking of Texans injured, did you see that Tank Dell injury today? Apparently, he like completely destroyed his left knee.
Oh.
He might be it might be career ender.
Well,
he like dislocated his knee, destroyed like all the injury. I mean, he's probably gonna be done, which sucks because he's just such a good receiver.
By the way, while we take out what we've been doing, because these are 2 specials there anyway.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Oh no, yeah. We'll just do the intro. I'll do a recap of what it's about, and you know.
Yep. That sounds
do, like,
good.
A simple, funny recap. I'm actually getting my list out because I put on my phone this time instead of on in a document that can be sniped by people. Let me go.
I didn't do it on my phone. I did it on my PC.
Yeah, and I'm putting you here, over here. Okay. Because I'm gonna put I will put on, online. I'll put our top 10.
Okay.
People know will be selected on the notes. And so if you're listening here, that's where it's gonna go. Okay.
I think I know what my top 3 are, but everything's going to be on the fly. I got my full list in front of me.
I have my list here. I have my list, and then I'm going to go over my selection committee for my list, and what the selection requirements to be on my list. So we'll go over that. I did watch the Game Awards again last night a little bit. People reacting to it. And yeah, Waldorf and man, it was what's his name? I'll say Hansel.
No.
Statler.
Yeah, Waldorf Statler.
Like, oh, yeah, Waldorf and Statler. Oh man, they were so funny. Like looking it back over because I was watching it live, I was just like not half paying attention. So I wasn't really like paying attention to them. I wanted to get more to like what was releasing. But like going over and actually listening to them, man, it was so great. because you could hear the crowd. Like if you're paying attention, like you're watching like a words, like an actual word show. That was really funny. They did a good
They've
job this
always been good, no matter who the handlers are.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh yeah, and it's the same voices too. But yeah,
right.
They definitely have
right.
good writers. Yeah.
Yep, and they had to stick to script, and I think that one where they were talking about people, or some of the people that were watching, they did it on the fly.
Yeah, that was I think.
Clemson just
I think
picked
he
off
actually
the
pulled
ball
up his
because they're going to
phone.
run it all the way back. Yes, they are. Flag on the
6-6?
play, though. Flag on the play.
Oh, were they Mahomes now?
Flag on the play. What's the flag about? Another Texan down, not yours. What's the flag about? Come on. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Let's get everything here. Making sure that sounds good.
Oh, so that was during the run back. Yeah, the Texan player had the ball. Did he get rolled up? No, that wasn't him.
Good. Check.
You good?
All good. Okay.
Yep.
Let me know when you're ready, sir.
Let's go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Defenders of the Alliance and warriors of the Horde. Heroes of Overwatch, Sanctuary, and the Koprulu sector. This is Group Quest, a roundtable podcast from Dawnforge Productions. Join us as we gather a collection of strong voices from around the community. Now, here are our hosts, Golvin and Joe.
And welcome back to Group Quest, everybody, on this special 1/2-parter. We're starting off with the top games of 2024, where myself and Joe over there will talk about what our top 10 list is. We have some runner-ups this year, and of course, we always dive into the top news stories of 2024. And of course, there's a lot of news that happened this year, Joe.
Yes, there is.
But yeah, and of course, that's Joe over there. What I guess, and in general, do a little arcing. I'll have you start first. What are your thoughts of 2020? Like, what are your feelings of 2024 in gaming?
You know, when we came off of the COVID year, we started to see some of the comebacks of games coming back, and I think now this was more of the comeback of video games, of the developers, and shipping the product out, and we have definitely benefited from it. I think last year we said that maybe last year was some of the best video games that we've seen in a long time. I think it got trumped by this year. I really do think it got trumped by this year, because if you look at it, the powerhouse hit to powerhouse hit to powerhouse hit to a surprise, maybe 2 surprises that I know I got on my list, everything turned out overall really, really well. Now, do we have some games that did disappoint us, and some games that we thought had failed? Obviously, because not every game is going to be great. It's just that when developers put passion behind their games, they make things great. And
yeah, I mean,
this year they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I mean, not just a phenomenal job as like in gaming in general. I mean, usually year to year, it's been pretty good since the early 2000s. With gaming, it just is ramping up more and more. I think this year, though, we saw a lot of games that were very focused on gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little different scope. Remember, I mean, we talk about, a lot of things follow trends in the world. and there's a huge trend in the United States election this year in 2024 about what people were more focused on. And I think gaming was also a trend in that as well, focusing more on the gameplay, about how a game feels when someone plays it rather than the characters involved in the game. And I'm not saying if that's good or bad, but I could definitely see the trend there. And what had happened is it made the games more fun to play, and people are more focusing on how it feels like to play the game than maybe even the story on some of them. And definitely on a couple on my list, Joe, the story that made 0% reason why they're on my list. And so that to me showcase, kind of highlights the year in 2024. And also, like you said, they're finally ramping up back to 2018, 2017, 2016 game production. Things have finally caught up. There's only a couple games, with Stalker being, of course, the big one this year. That was the one that took the longest. And that's going to lead us into our top 10 stories of 2024. I know I didn't put it on here because I did a top 5, but that's one I just thought of. Is the Stalker. I mean, it was delayed due to the Ukraine crisis. That's still ongoing. And, maybe 2025 will be different there, but it doesn't even seem like it's going to be. The stuff that's coming out this last week, even as we close out 2024, is makes it seem like that game where the developers, of course, were in Ukraine because of the war with Russia. They fled to Poland, which is where they Warsaw. I think Warsaw Studios is actually one of the developers there. They're actually in there working with them.
Yep.
And so they were able to finish the game, and it came out, and that's it. It just came out. It wasn't like a normal Stalker acceptance for the game, and I think it's just because it took so long that the hype behind it kind of died out a little bit.
And maybe some of the support did. And really, what I was hoping for is that some of that support would actually stay for the game, because what the developers had to go through. Look, games get delayed all the time, right? But those guys were under special circumstances, and we as players did not account for that. It's partly our fault as gamers, because we did not acknowledge some of the things that they were going through, because we can't fathom that.
I mean, as of right now, Game Rant says that as of last week, it's sold already about 2 million copies. And so if you get it from certain areas, they're basically making around $42 per game is what it comes down to. I think is what it says here in a little brief summary. So that it's done pretty well. 2 million copies, I think, is pretty good. I just think it's just not prevalent, meaning as in you didn't really see them discussing it anywhere. I believe it did have a brief cameo at the Game Awards, but the game just looks so old because it was supposed to be released in 2022. And it looks right. And it's so weird that that's the case now, that games that are 2 years delayed now, Joe, they look like they're from the 90s.
No, I would agree, but it is all because of things that we as players don't get. It's not it's not the usual bugs or some of the production slowdowns that the typical studio encounters. No. These were exponential circumstances. And those circumstances, my hats off go to the studio. Absolutely.
And like right now, you can get them for 10% off on Steam. So it's at $54. And it says it has I'm trying to see if it has here how many sales it listed, but just on Steam alone, it has about 1.7 million. So if you just on Steam, you think GOG, you think direct to the company, they have a lot of different avenues, maybe PSN purchases. So they probably have about 2 million to 2 to 3 million sales around that.
They would have that number in studio. They would have that number in studio. How much?
So which is a very huge success when you see what happened with
done.
them. And so people are buying it, but also I think what actually helped them, Joe, is that they released it during the holidays. I mean, people are going to buy it, and it's going to be in someone's stocking. As of right now, you're listening to this, and you probably just got this game as a gift from one of your loved ones or friends.
Yep.
Maybe it was a. So that's the thing about this is that it was one of the big stories though of 2024. Definitely that it finally got released, that they were able to get it out, and it came out later. It was one of the latest stories, which is why I just remembered it now because I was trying to go through like the top 5 I could think of. And so we go into the real top 5 stories, and of course we have to lead in with not just because of we do stream on Twitch, obviously twitch.tv/DonForge. You can catch us there every Saturday 2:30 to 5:30 Pacific, 5:30 8:30 Eastern, on there. And then but you could it's also being a game scene, one of the biggest streamers of games, which is a lot of people are I'm definitely influenced by streamers when they play games. Like I'll watch them play, and if it looks like it's fun, then I'll put it on my list to play. And or if it's like, am I gonna like this game? I'll watch I'll watch JP, right? I'll watch him, and Cone Carnage. I'll watch one of those, or Ezekiel III, like that group of people, because that's they're like my age. I think that's why they're around my age. So it's like my friends, like, hey, is this a good game? Right. And I'll watch them play, and they'll give their pointers and everything, and they all a little different. Which is actually Drop Frames Cast. If anybody out there, that's the Drop Frames post. And so I'll watch that, but then I'll also watch their streams leading up to that. Well, one of the biggest stories, which we have to lead in, is of course Dr. Disrespect. Not just that though, Joe, because he owned a studio. People don't realize that he owned a studio, co-owned it with the Boom TV owner as well, which of course was the esports, like the old school TWL, like Team Warfare League, way back in the day in the late 90s, early 2000s, was like a league that people like the ESL. It was kind of like that, like where people got together and they played tournaments and everything. It was kind of self-run by community. And Dr. Disrespect was a big promoter of that. Of course he was being paid, but he helped get that started. He like a lot of the Fortnite ones. There would be Call of Duty tournaments. There was H1Z1 back in, when that was a really popular game. And so a lot of these games that were around at the time, he was leading that. And so he started a studio, Midnight Society. So Midnight Society was a studio, and then a game they were releasing, which was basically going to be a battle royale, realistic shooter, where it was like if you were good at shooting, it was going to benefit that. NFTs were involved, so it was going to have some third-party NFT resources that he did sell. And then he was the biggest streamer on Twitch. He got banned, and no one knew why. Then he went to YouTube, and then was not as big because YouTube isn't really there, but still really well, and still doing well for himself. The sponsorship deals were coming back. Sponsors were feeling like, okay, it was something weird, probably a contract. We don't know. They can't say anything. And then a former Twitch employee who has a vendetta leaked why he said he was banned, which of course was sexting a minor, is what the person said. And then Dr. Disrespect comes out and denies it. Like most people would deny that. And then had a whole twit longer against himself by himself, which I don't think we've ever seen. And I don't know. I think it's a lot of it, maybe guilt that could build up for him. You have to go to cross analysis of someone's mind on that. But he essentially did like a twit. He twit longered himself. And in there, he put the phrases that he inappropriately talked to a minor. And so that right there, what does the inappropriate mean? And a lot of people are inferring that he was sending explicit messages. He was sexting, all this kind of stuff. Twitch did send that complaint to the government agency that looks into exploitive nature of children. There has yet to be any charges filed, and that's the key thing. They weren't like no charges were filed, like they said dismissed or no, we're not doing that. That none have been filed yet. So there's nothing on file that they know, but there was an active case opened and everything against Dr. Disrespect, and is what he was saying in this conversation. This was back in 2017, mind you, during the start of his fame, and through his big fame, was this had happened. And so that is the biggest story, is the rise and fall of Dr. Disrespect. They now call him Dr. Diddler, is his actual name amongst all the scenes that I could travel through for the internet. It's Dr. Diddler. That's what they call him. Just like, P. Diddy, that type of area. Of course, we're in 2024. That's P. Diddy's story might get huge. It might be like this biggest thing of 2025. We don't know. But that's in the pop culture realm. However, he basically ruined his own career by coming out and trying to squelch the rumors and everything, because people were asking him, and he canceled himself by what he did. Now you can say that's good or bad. right or wrong, but to me, it's just like, someone's true self comes through and I read what their words stand for. I was a big proponent. I had his signed book. I threw it away. I had a signed book. I was a follower of him. I was a Champions Club member.
You know what he needs to do now?
Disappear forever.
Either that.
That's what he needs to do.
Either that or try to recreate himself. I mean, it's going to be easy to disappear. Well, maybe
the only
not.
way he's going to ever reclaim anything, Joe, is
not reclaim.
Right now he's embraced the right wing. They're trying to cancel me culture.
Right. Okay.
So he's gone full far right conspiracy theory. Cancel me, like that whole the crazy part of that party.
He needs to recreate himself. He needs to find a different persona and follow that persona. He needs to learn to walk away from the situation.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. But I think the only way there's going to be closure though is he's gonna have unless he doesn't have them. I mean, he must have them.
Oh, please.
He's gonna have to release the chat logs. That's the only way. He's gonna have some third-party person that people trust, or multiple people that have seen it, and maybe it's not public, but have seen it. He's gonna have. Now it makes a lot of sense, though, Joe, of why he came on stream back in the time and apologized for cheating on his wife. Remember that whole situation? It was really weird at the time that this happened, but now it makes more sense. That his wife. I mean, when he did cheat on her with someone, with actually a person, another streamer. Right. No one knows. There's a speculation of who it was, but he did apparently cheat on someone, but they were over 18. But then probably this happened. That the chat logs came out that he got. Came clean with everything, and so power corrupts, right? Popularity and power corrupts, and fame. This is what everybody says. It always happens across the board with everybody. Power, fame, and it corrupts people. Because they think they're invincible. They think they're the guy, and it doesn't help that his persona, Joe, was like the Macho Man, Randy Savage, but in game form, right? I mean, even the glasses were the same. He's like an old WWE superstar. That's how he is. That's how he acts like, right? Like, does he act like some of the people right now?
No.
Oh, you like the arrogance though? Like, I'm better than you. You get off my same level.
He can't afford to do that.
No, I mean, but that's how his character is. Like, his character's matched after an old school WWE superstar.
Right.
Meaning like the bravado, the flair, all that kind of stuff.
He needs to disappear for a bit, come back, and recreate himself. Not as something that's disrespectful. Maybe something else. Maybe someone that's angry at everybody. Maybe someone that's happy or sad or something different.
I think he's just gonna. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, the last time he had this controversy, and everybody kind of canceled him back then when he got banned from Twitch. It took him like 2 years, and he's back on his feet again. He took like almost a year off, and then he was back, and then people supported him. I mean, he's made a lot of money, but the one thing that we have to talk about, why I talk about like situation, what he's going to do, is that Midnight Society was a full-fledged game studio. They had game developers, they had artists, they had actual people. And just like this year, which is not on here for the news stories of 2024, but a lot of the game studios shuttering. A lot of ones going under, a lot of layoffs happening this year for the game industry. And Midnight Society was one of the big ones because I don't even know if they exist. If they do, it's like a skeleton crew to try to finish the game because they have an asset there that they maybe want to sell off to someone else. And that's probably what's going to end up happening here is that Midnight Society will be sold off to another company. That's my hot take on it, is that that's going to happen there.
We'll see.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you think is going to happen to Midnight Society?
I got a bad feeling that they're just going to be disbanded.
Just like sold off the assets or like the storylines or something like that?
Just like maybe the studio's going to be closed or something. It's not going to be good. But one of the other stories behind this, as a part of the layoffs, what happened at the Game Awards? There was an announcement and an award given to the person about recreating or at least creating a resource for
Yeah.
developers to go up online and say, okay, it's almost like a LinkedIn where people could go online and say, this job is open. We can go work here. And now developers have that resource. So now hopefully we won't see the number of layoffs is what we typically see. We would see not only the number of layoffs, we would see the number of hires. Okay. If the sites do report that stuff. They typically don't because it's not juicy news. Juicy news is layoffs and sales and blah 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 stuff. When people get hired, it has to be a big name or it's not anything at all. Kind of like a Blizzard changeover.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like, remember, last year the biggest news story was Bobby Kotick and Blizzard leaving and him leaving the scene.
Right.
I mean, it was like in sayonara, let the door hit you on the way out story. But this year was more about like what was going on with Blizzard. Like, how are they going to respond to being on their own? Well, what did we see right away? We saw a lot of games being a lot of changes to current games.
Yeah.
Rumors of maybe Overwatch 2 closing doors because of how bad it was doing. We saw more pivot towards the World of Warcraft and resources there to get it out and being polished. People saying we were wrong about what we did, which was definitely a different highlight and site for Blizzard.
Right.
And the split, a full-on split down the middle of Activision Blizzard being separate entities now. And I believe they are fully now separate. I forgot to look up this before the show, but
except for the Battle.net app.
Yeah, except for that.
And I think that will be beneficial for Activision to stay there. Because if you take a look at the Xbox Game Pass PC app, it's not as clean. It's not as efficient. Indeed. So when you change the personnel and bring personnel back that shouldn't have left in the first place, that is a huge, huge deal. And right now, we're starting to see, okay, yeah, there's some negative stuff going on because there's still a bit of a mess there. And in time, that's going to get cleaned up. But in the process of that, and you'll see it on our lists, there's some good positivity here. Really good positivity. Diablo 4 should have had a bigger argument in the Game Awards.
Yeah. They did talk about it a little bit, but not too much.
They were up for one award. One, and lost. They should have had more visual effects in there. They should have had more entries, I should say. Not visual effects, but entries in there. I'm not saying wins. I'm just saying more entries. Because while Diablo 4, obviously not a Game of the Year contender, they had more arguments to be in that award show than just one. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, also you have to look at, too, like, what has released this year, too, that's been really effective. The WoW Classic Hardcore mode, or Rewind, right?
That's true, too. That's
a huge thing. I mean, OnlyFans, which is, of course, one of the bigger streaming groups, they have a lot of good numbers behind their metrics. You know, and then also the World Saga, which is a huge leap forward for World of Warcraft. You know, they're going to almost like, it almost seems like at the end of this, it's going to be the end of WoW. Like, they might go to either close it down. I don't think so because they make a lot of money, but maybe take a different WoW 2. We've been talking about for years, and about that. Or just a different story. Maybe they would do like a time skip or something for the characters.
I just thought of something for the next show. You brought up WoW 2. I just thought of something for the next show. I'll save it for there. I'll save it for there. I gotta write that down though. I gotta, or else I'll forget. I gotta write that down.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea behind it. Is, you know, they've done a lot this year.
Exactly.
So I mean, like, what like do you like? What do you think about the World Soul Saga this year, like the start of it?
I think that they got up on the right foot for the initial saga this year, and I'll talk about more of that in my list. It's there somewhere. It's there somewhere, but I will say for now, it got up on the right foot.
And then yeah, like, and Diablo Vessel of Hatred looks really good too. Different area. I mean, we all knew Blizzard was always great at games, at game creation, but what they need now is they need a new IP. It's pretty clear that that's what they need to get done. And, you know, we'll see if there's anything else coming down the pipeline now that Microsoft is involved.
We shall see. There are some
yeah,
rumors.
There
Pretty
is
strong
yes.
ones.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing about Blizzard is that the changeover was really more of, it felt less like they're going for a buck. I did notice a lot less like store mounts and stuff this year.
Right.
Even though there's a lot of stuff you can buy, like packages.
Right. Yeah, but you've always seen that. You've always seen that.
But it didn't feel, I mean, but again, maybe that's just because it's like the chains were freed from the company.
Right.
I think that's what it just feels different. It's like, oh, finally they're Bobby Kotick is no longer here. Now let's see what they can cook. And of course they have the head chef is back. They brought back the Gordon Ramsay of Blizzard. Chris Metzen.
Yep.
And so it's like the Gordon Ramsay's back. You just need to let him cook, and he has a big pot. And he even said that, which I think is how plugged in he is to the culture of gaming in general. Is like, you know, let him cook is a big thing. And he even said we have this big pot and we're putting a bunch of stuff in. And of course everybody's like, oh, let him cook. You know, that it's so like he understands the group and he's part of it. But he definitely is Warcraft, and not just because he's the voice of Thor, but because
Thrall, not
Thrall.
Thor.
Sorry, Thor.
Thrall.
Well, hey, same thing, close enough.
No, it's not. Thor's got a hammer and flies. Thrall's got a weapon and uses it. He's a shaman. He's a shaman, by the way. Well,
he does call lightning down, so they're similar that way.
Only in that way. I wish I would take Thor over Thrall any day, but still.
But it was a big story for Blizzard changeover.
It was.
What would happen? Would they die out? Would they be split off? Like no one knew. And no, Microsoft did like what they do with other successful companies that they own, like Bethesda. Hey, do your thing. Maybe want you to push you a certain way. They want you to release that top title.
Just do what you do. You're good.
Clearly, they wanted to get the War Within released this year. That's a clear thing. They want to be released and released successfully, and I think it did. And then, but what even was more successful, like always, is these things that they always thought forever were crap, like the classics and the rewinds and all this other. And then, what was the other one? Seasons of Discovery was a big hit as well.
Exactly.
Like these new modes that are in the game. These players, you have they have 15 million plus players. Let's say it. That's probably about where they're at. Oh, you know, that still play the game and would come back. May not play the game now, but like would come back and play the game if it felt like it was calling to them again.
Including
me. Yeah. I mean, I have the game. I have the yearly sub, but I really haven't gone in. I came in a couple weeks ago. I really haven't had, but that's the goal for what coming up is to play more WoW to get through at least this current expansion. But aside from that, it's just to me is the idea is like Blizzard is back, the feeling. And I think that's the biggest thing of the changeover, right? Blizzard's back.
And okay, maybe not all the way back. The WoW team's back.
Yeah.
I think one division within Blizzard's back.
Well, and Diablo. Well, Diablo never went anywhere, so we can't say about that.
Right. Diablo, for the most part, stayed. Not everybody's back, and not everybody will be back.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. Overwatch 2, big question mark. Hearthstone, big question mark.
Hearthstone's got a better chance of coming back than, let's say, Overwatch 2.
I think Overwatch 2 is done. I think the MOBA shooter But then again, like, but I think what it's doing, it's like a reset.
Right. It goes to, but can things be picked up again? And it could.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't know what the plans are. We know what our expectations are, and usually our expectations are pretty much on the ball. So I don't think Hearthstone's going to go anywhere, and I really don't think Overwatch 2 is going to go anywhere.
No, I don't think so. I think so either. They just need a strategic pivot.
Exactly. They're going to take a look at what they got. They're going to say, okay, and they might try to entice more people back. Because what do we say about Overwatch? They lacked vision. What if they brought that vision back? Doesn't have to be the same guy. All they need right now is a developer with vision.
They had two of them, Joe, and they both let him go.
Under Bobby Kotick.
One of them is, yeah, he did.
Under Bobby Kotick, yes. That's the point. That's
it's
the
because
exact point.
Because of what he instructed them to do, make money over quality.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why Jeff Kaplan is no longer there.
Because Kaplan wanted to make a game.
He wanted to make a fun game.
You
can tell because how he was talking about it. Like how when they were doing the remote talkings about Overwatch 2 and the PvE of that, he was so excited about that. We're gonna blow up the sides of the building.
When he was up by the hearth, there over the Christmas holidays, you could tell because his passion was there. His passion was in the game. He's not there anymore. There is no passion in the game.
Yep. And another one that
doesn't
happened
have
too.
It doesn't have to be Kaplan that has to be in there. They could put somebody else in there. They just have that vision. That's
like
it.
Ben Brode, who now is successfully leading, now has this very successful studio under his own, his Second Dinner, and but maybe that was always his goal, right? We can't say he left because of Bobby. Maybe he just had a good opportunity. Obviously, he got the Marvel game, so he's like, hey, this is a great step up.
And they've been rolling ever since,
and it's still doing well. Yeah, so I think, and then what other, we'll see what other games come down the pipeline for him, but I think he's such a good visionary that they'll be fine. And even people said when he left, it was like the soul of the game had left the company because he's such a big figure, not just like big as his size, but his personality, just a personality. He was like the big personality guy. And usually with companies that look at numbers, they don't understand the value of someone like that. The hype man, like they don't understand the hype man. They understand the hype man's not generating 10% more sales. So if we get rid of him, we'll have 10% more sales. But then what happens when they get rid of 10% more sales, you actually lose 50% more sales because your customers don't want to deal with the guy that doesn't care about them. They want to deal with Ben, and that happens to any company that doesn't realize that all they're looking at is the hard numbers. And then some of them have to go back and hire back that guy and like twice as much he was getting. So they make a big mistake. But for Blizzard, 2024 was about the changeover for them, going from Activision Blizzard. I mean, they're still Activision Blizzard, but doesn't feel the same with Bobby Kotick's hands dug deep into them. It feels fresh. Just like another fresh game that was sued this year, Joe. Palworld, obviously, we talked about the lawsuit. We knew it was going to come at some point. We didn't know when, but it did happen this year with Pokemon suing Palworld for infringement of their patents, and they were looking for lost money that they would get. But then I don't think they wanted to stop them, but I do know that they wanted monetary. They couldn't sell the game in Japan. That's really small. I mean, when you think about Palworld being
but what did Sony do? What did Sony do? What did Sony do? They sold it in Japan. Yeah, we can't sell it in Japan via the makers of Palworld. No. Sony said, okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. Okay, let's give some backstory here. Nintendo over the past year was suing different people because of this, that, and the other thing. Mainly because
Nintendo does this all the time too.
Because of emulators. But that gave us the idea that they're going to do it. They're going to sue Power World. They've been looking forward to it since Power World launched this year. Since Power World launched in early access, they had to figure out a way to sue them. And they finally did. Through the Japan courts, they found a way to sue them under 3 patents. Now, I don't remember the patents. I'm not going to, it would take too long to go through them there anyway. So I'm not going to go through that. But because of those patents, that was, by the way, put on after the launch of Power World. In early access, but still after the launch of Power World. Nintendo sued them. Nintendo sued Power World over the throws. And how
it's basically it's
how
basically a
Pokeball is
patent
thrown.
lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's a patent lawsuit. So it's nothing to do with
Right.
That's how actually how well Power World did. But is that, well, one, they did this is an early access. So it's definitely under different regulations.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I think in the arsenal for the Pokemon Company is they can block, which is what they're trying to do, is stop the release of Power World. Well, it's already out. Yes, it's early access, but it's basically the game is out. They just call it early access still. They want $32,000 for Nintendo and Pokemon Company. I think Power World has made over like $200 million or more. Huge success. So like, no, they're perfectly fine with that. I actually need to look that up. I remember it's an insane amount. They want late payment damages for those payments. And they want compensation for damages incurred between the date of the registration of the patents and the date filing the lawsuit. However, the problem is that because the patents are so broad that they're basically invalid, because patents have to be very specific. And the patents that they're
in the
infringing
US,
upon, they're like, insert a cartridge game into a player and play it. Like that could be anything. It's like
okay,
designed,
fine.
You know,
we're talking about U.S. law. This is Japanese law, which we don't know anything about, so they can be broad.
No, the patents. I mean, the patent. No, but they say there's patent experts out there that are saying the patent is actually invalid.
No,
like,
I understand. I understand that. Because we would say the same thing that the patent's too broad. That the patents have to be more well defined than what they are, currently. It's just that's Japan, and we don't know how their patent laws work. We don't understand them. So, what we're basically saying is that we don't agree with that. And because we don't agree with that patent or those patent laws, that's where the discussion is. And strictly, we don't agree with it, but that's what's been going on over the past year. Power World was finally sued by Nintendo. And this is going to go on into the future now, unless Power World says, we give up. Okay, we'll pay that lawsuit off, or they put this in court finally, and see who wins.
So there's 3 patents that they infringed here.
Yeah, we said that.
August 27, 2024. May 22nd, 2024. July 26, 2024. They basically have 3 patents that were filed this year, and one of them is so vague. It literally says nice, and it has a guy throwing like a throwing motion and a Pokeball next to it, and then the Pokemon basically in the Pokeball.
Mm-hmm.
It is that's so broad. Like, obviously it looks like a Pokeball, but like they're saying capturing digital characters is a patent. No, I'm sorry. That's not. It's a mechanic of a game. That's a story of how the process of a game.
Right.
I think it's gonna get. I believe because how Power World is and the partners.
Mm-hmm.
selling over 15 million units so far as of in February, and more than 25 million players, unique players worldwide. It's now supported 25 million because it did release on PC and console now. So if you think about like what is Power World cost per game?
I didn't look it up recently.
$30 right now. So $30. So if you go $30 times 15 million, let's just say 15 million as a rough guess, they made $450 million, Joe.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna go through court on this one because it's gonna set precedents, obviously.
Right.
But they're not gonna pay him anything. They're not gonna pay him nothing. Or they might settle, but the settlement would be blocking it. So I think that's I think they're gonna block it. But it's also but that was one of the biggest stories.
It's gonna be one thing or the other. It's just gonna be like different stuff. And you know what? It'll be fine no matter what because it's going to be, I mean, people don't have it right now. When it does release, people are going to love it. It's a really, really good game.
Yeah, when it's officially released, right?
When it's
and a lot of people don't play early access as a part of their ideology. Is not to do early access. But but that's been one of the studio. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get more in 2025. We'll get some more updates from that. But that's one to take a look at there as well. But then we have to get to the next one, Joe, which of course is the Microsoft merger finally went through and finished. It is over and done. This is because of all the lawsuits that were going on with Sony trying to block everything. And eventually all of them just stepped aside. The judges ruled against Sony. And because of the deals that Microsoft did, which is smart.
10
right
years.
Before rulings were happening, we're doing 10-year deals with Nintendo. We're doing 10 years with Joe's game company. Like, they're like, anybody that wants, we're going to give you 10 years of licensing.
Yep.
Just to say, hey, we're giving it to everybody. We're not monopolizing. And that worked. And worked to the benefit of Microsoft.
Yep. Well done to Xbox. Now we're going to see if there's going to be a gaming global takeover or something.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, that was a big thing about the whole Call of Duty hiccup. And that was the whole idea to stop
that was the whole issue with Call of Duty, which really that shouldn't have been the issue at all. The issue should have been King. Because how much money does King make year over year? We're not talking about millions of dollars. No, we're talking about billions.
I think it's like 8 billion. Oh, 3 billion.
Per year. And it's like clockwork. Absolute clockwork because Candy Crush is Candy Crush. It's simple. It's simple math. When they do simple math, it's phenomenal, the numbers that they put out.
Exactly. And so that was a big news story. No, we're not sticking too much on this one because it's pretty cut and dry. And another one, the last one we're talking about before we get into talking about some games, finally, as being the top games of 2024 show. So the Switch 2 is real. It is real. It's not a figment of my imagination, Joe. But to me, this is definitely has to be one of the top stories of 2024 is that it actually is real. It exists. They are talking about it. It was referenced by Nintendo president. So it's like they're not calling it Switch 2. They're calling it the Switch predecessor. And so they're talking about it like, it's coming up. A successor, excuse me, not predecessor. Successor. They're talking about it internally and in an official documentation.
Right.
So
right. The thing
now there have been a lot of leaks too.
The thing that we're looking for next year is, will they come out with an announcement? Yeah, there's been talk. Talk needs to be done. It needs to be over. We need an announcement. And we've already said that we're looking forward to an announcement by March. So January, February, March. Within the first quarter of 2025. That's all we're looking forward to.
Yeah, because that's what I believe. That's what the president said that they were saying.
That's going to dominate the news for next year.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So anyway,
and also like what kind of chip is inside of it, right? Like what kind of technology are they using? Are they Are they a generation behind? Are they like doing now PS5 graphics when PS5 and PS6 might be happening soon? You know, PS5
Yeah,
Pro,
but they've always
4K,
been behind.
8K.
They've always been behind.
I mean, they were like, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I'm very, that's one of the big
They've
stories
always been
though, is that it
behind.
is real. It actually is happening. It's not like a figment of imagination. But the Switch is still great. I mean, I got a Switch Lite. Breath of the Wild on it is perfect. I mean, it's a perfect handheld. It's definitely the upgrade to the 3DS, the 3DS or the DXL one, which is the double one that folded up, which I did have for a little bit, but then ended up selling.
Right.
But yeah, I think a great job by by Nintendo too, about being more delayed. Probably didn't want to hold back.
You're basically saying that I can be now relaxed now and not get like angry and PO'd because you need to make an announcement.
Well, not just that. It's just that these games coming out look so great and what they're showing, but then of course when they see that in the game, it's terrible. It's barely making 30 FPS because the console's so old. I mean, it's a telephone. It's pretty much what it is. It's a high-end telephone. Not back in like 4 years ago. I mean, that's what it is. Like,
hello.
Yeah, exactly. Nintendo, hello. But I mean, it is like the technology in it is like an early 2020 phone.
Right.
And so that's why we're like, let's get something better. I mean, the PS5 is vastly better, and that's 4 years old now. So that's what people have to realize. That's 4 years old. So
I think they already realize it. They just don't care.
Yeah, but that was one of the big stories. Of that. But right after this quick word from ourselves, we'll get right into some runner-up awards for this show.
Want to support the show? Then why not support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thegroupquest. All proceeds go towards taking the show to the next level, and you get some cool rewards, such as access to GQ2, our After Hours mini-sode podcast, shoutouts, AMAs, and even joining us on the show as a guest. For more information on the tiers and to subscribe, head to patreon.com/thegroupquest.
Hey everybody, this is Joe, and I want to talk to you about something that I've been drinking over the past couple of weeks. SwiftEnergy.gg. Swift Energy has a lot of flavors to it. Something like I'm drinking, which is Sweet Rocket Popsicle, and it tastes really good. I cannot lie. Swift Energy. You can add to your tea, your Kool-Aid, your coffee, or you could just drink it straight up as water, which is what I do. It will give you that boost. It's got some caffeine to it, but it's still really good. There is no crash whatsoever. If you want to go check out the flavors, it's up on their site, swiftenergy.gg. In the checkout line, put in the word QUEST as the coupon code, and you will get 25% off of your purchase. That's swiftenergy.gg. Go do it. Go get it.
Yes. And
Yes.
so, make sure always do that promo code. It's especially going here with the holidays. If you forgot to get someone a gift, just say, "Hey, we're waiting on the shipping," and you can go get that discount right now.
Exactly. And if you get it now, you can get it before New Year's.
Yeah.
There you go. You'll
need the energy and everything for New Year's Eve.
You'll have the energy to stay up all night. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. You'll be awake. Great flavors too.
Yeah, great flavors, and just like great flavors, we get to talk about some great games now, and our runner-up awards. And these are gonna be awards that are rewards. Excuse me.
Awards, not rewards.
Well, they're rewarding. We're rewarding them awards. Twist for that.
Yeah.
But the runner-up. So these are just different categories. The top 10. Now, some of these top 10 games might find their way into here. But we're going to talk about some certain categories and come up with some ideas behind them. And so the first one's going to be the most surprising game of 2024. I'll go ahead and lead that off myself. And the most surprising game of 2024 is going to be Balatro, Joe. That's my most surprising game. a simple
Strong.
game, you know, and it's just a card, essentially just a poker themed like deck building game, and it's
poker based.
It's poker based, but I think it's more of the fact that they really focused on being able to play it multiplayer as well, and then have the characters, and I think it's just like they really took advantage of the Twitch space, the YouTube space, the streaming space.
Yes, they did.
And at the right time, it was one of those ones at the right time, at the right moment, the right time came out. And it's a simple game when you look at it on paper, but it's just, you know, it's you know, solitaire poker, you know, kind of like with the twists, and it's a roguelike deck building game. So it has all these different ways that you can use the game and play it and enjoy it. You just play poker with it, that's fine. You can make it a deck building game, that's fine too. So like, there's a lot of stuff you can do in it, and yeah, I mean, it's a mobile game, and that's a surprise as well too, Joe, because usually mobile games don't do well. They're usually like laughed at. You know, Candy Crush is another big one. Back in the day, I think it won some awards. But you know, with it being a mobile game, as well as it being able to be on the PS5, you can play it on Mac, which is, I think, is a huge thing. Because Mac really doesn't have games. They don't. And there's a lot of Mac users out there.
Right.
That's why WoW is still popular, because Mac can still run it.
Right.
But what are your thoughts, at least on my pick in general, as the most surprising? And is it yours most surprising too?
That's a strong pick. That's a very strong pick for not just the way that it plays, but the way that it presents itself. Yeah, it's a. Oh, I can't think. It's an independent game.
Yeah, indie game.
And yeah, it's an indie game, and that's why it's done so well, because once again, when you put passion in something, you can tend to do very well. Okay? Now, my most surprising game was more Astrobot. This game,
just the success, you think?
It was more about, I'm not saying about the success. I'm going on the fact that on how well it plays. It blows every other game out of the water. And that is what was more surprising to me as a more surprising game. Not on its performance, or not just on its performance. It's how it played. I mean, it is indeed a very well done game. I'm not done talking about this one either. But this is like really, really good. Really, a really good game. Really good game.
Well, I mean, it's because it kind of mixes up classic themes, right? But in a different way. So it's like, it's like a Mario game. It's like a Kirby game.
It's a platform. You know, it is a Mario game, essentially. It's like a Mario well, there's a couple other games that's in there.
Super Monkey Ball, kind of like, but yeah, has like, it definitely feels like the games that you would think.
Some of the actions are kind of like Jak and Daxter, but still, you get all that feeling because that's what they intended to do, is provide that feeling on how Astrobot can kill enemies and all that stuff. It's still very well done game. Very well done game. Now, what would be
and pretty not easy, but pretty easy for people, normal people, to pick up and play, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically like you said, like it's more like a Mario game. It's like Mario meets Zelda. That's what it is. It's a little bit of Mario. It's a little bit of Zelda. It did more of the theme of like N64 Mario, and that's why I think of it more as that. But the music is really great. You know, and it just gives that nostalgia feel of, you know, I guess of a Mario game. I think I wonder if that's really it, Joe. Is the main thing is that it reminds people so much of a Mario game that like it gives it nostalgia.
Atypical platformer. What's the atypical? What's the basis?
It's Mario
of platformers. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So still, very well done. Very well done.
Yeah, it's like all. It's what's funny. It's by PlayStation, and yet it's more like all Nintendo games mixed into one. Like Zelda, like a Zelda game, a Mario game, Kirby a little bit.
Yes.
Like it's all mixed together, and then you have like the good music, and yet it's like by Sony. And that's why it's done so well at all of the Game Awards as well this year. So yeah, great pick. Definitely surprising for me. So next one, Joe. What's your most disappointing game? The game that you went, man, this could have been so much better.
Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. High expectations for that game, and I still might try to finish it, but I'm not enthused by it. Something, I can't pinpoint it. I don't know if it's like the lack of voices or it doesn't feel like an even old school Dragon Quest game. This is not the game that they should have remade. They should have remade, instead of 3, they should have remade I think Dragon Quest 4. Yeah, I think it was 4. Like it was the Curse of the the Curse of the Frog Prince or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what they should have done. And I get it that you want to go back to 3, 1, and 2, but if you were going to do a remake and you're Square Enix, you should have done it like Final Fantasy VII. The way that they've done 7, just great. Just absolute great right now. But it's just that Dragon Quest 3 just kind of fell short for me. What do you think about Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake?
Well, the name is too long.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have to go back with you because it looks like it's the same game to me as the original, just in better graphics. But then it's for the Switch, so how much better the graphics will there be? And if you say that you're more disappointed in it, that didn't improve upon itself by being a remake, then really all they did was just report it. That's all they did. Took the same game and put better graphics on it.
Yep.
Because Rebirth, all the Final Fantasy VII original, the first ones, all the remakes that they're doing, they're adding to the game. They're splitting them up.
Voices to it.
But they're also retooling slightly, maybe some of the story to make it more make sense, make it like
different battle systems to it. Yes, and none of it was done. Different game,
exactly.
None of it was done.
And so I agree. I think Dragon Quest II HD TV XYZ remake.
What's yours?
But yeah, it makes sense why it is. And mine is there's too many to go about.
Pick one.
So there's 2 of them that I thought of, and I'll just touch on one just because we haven't talked about it like at all. It makes sense. But there's one that to me is definitely the most disappointing. One of the ones that was a runner-up, I'll say, Suicide Squad. And the reason why I do that's my most disappointing is because I thought that would split off into a new, that genre, more of those Marvel-esque or being DC. But like this Marvel DC games where you play as multi-heroes, and there's such a huge swath of games out there. We just had one at the Game Awards where it's like your heroes kind of like Incredible style working in an office. Like that's what that's going over. And that looks really great. But I was hoping that maybe there'd be a DC game like that. But no, we don't. And Suicide Squad fell short. It had a lot of problems. It kept getting delayed. No one really was happy about it. And so that was definitely a sigh. To me, though, my winner is Star Wars Outlaws.
New IP?
No, that's for most disappointing game.
Okay.
As a new IP, it should have been way better than this. And there's a reason why it's most disappointing is because if you would put any other name on it than Star Wars, it would be a B game. It would do just as bad. But because it's a Star Wars on it, you expect to have some kind of finesse to it. And especially with all of the stuff about Knights of the Old Republic, you know, still being in the loop, and you think of this game and think of like the difference in them.
Okay.
And not just like what people thought of it when it came out, but just that it was about a bounty hunter, but it was like Star Wars, and you know, they really hyped it up. And Ubisoft, but it just, to me, was, it felt disappointed in it. Like, it just was everything I looked into, watching people play. And that's why I didn't want to pick it up. I talked about this was one of my most hyped games of this last year. I was so excited for it. It's going to be game of the year. I was saying that, and it came out, and we saw gameplay, we saw story, and I'm like, this is crap. This is just a garbage. It's just a regular generic
it's a garbage game.
It's Assassin's Creed in space. That's why I don't like it. It's literally Assassin's Creed with just laser beams. And that's the, you know, that's not saying that's a bad genre, but it's been done. Do something unique, do something different, make it more Star Wars, that's why I really enjoyed both of the Star Wars Jedi games. Now I'm drawing a blank on them, but the recent ones that just came out, because they're different. Yeah, they felt like when you play them, you've already played this type of style, but the story was different. Like, the artistic style is way different. Like, it looks so crisp, the digital world, and it felt like I was a Jedi. You know, and I think that's what it is. I think, as me as a player, but then maybe most people also out there, because Star Wars Outlaws did terrible as well,
right,
amongst normal people, is because everybody wants to be a Jedi because they're the person of good, right? They're the good guy in the story. Everybody wants to be the hero. Not everybody, but the majority of people do. And so, to me, that's the biggest one of 2024.
What's your best new IP?
I had to think about this one because Balatro was up there, but it's like, yeah, that's a good one. It's a mobile, it's an indie, it's definitely different. But there's only one I have to go to because I've been waiting for probably 30 plus years for this show to come out. It's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And it is a new IP. When I think of new IP, new IP, we have to say, new IP could be like, to me, is new game that it's not coming from another genre. Like, there's nothing before it, right? It's starting fresh. Now, if you think about it, it's basically Indiana Jones, which is a character in a movie, and they're making a game for it. So is that technically a new IP? I'm calling this my phrasing of a new IP is something that is like a game that came out. It could be based on any kind of like a D&D, like Baldur's Gate 3 would be a new IP last year. No, it wouldn't be because 2 was there. So it technically wouldn't be. But like, say if it was Baldur's Gate and it was based off of D&D, but it was its own thing, then I would say that'd be a new IP. To me, that's what I think of for gaming new IP. Now, that's my interpretation, which in the top 10, I have a lot of interpretation on that. So we're doing a little different this year. So, but for you might have a new game that never existed before, nothing, no backstory. But Indiana Jones is my favorite movie series. It's always been my favorite new series, except for number 4, the one with the aliens, which is still, it was good to watch.
Okay.
Right. The Crystal Skull, like, what the hell is this? Now, the latest one was good. He's like 90 years old, though, in Indiana. And then when he came out in the Game Awards, he was basically drunk. He's always drunk at these things, too. He does not like public speaking. He kind of clammers up, so he gets drunk to make him at ease. But he was drunk when he talked about that. Plus, he's been in a couple of quick plane crashes of him flying the plane. So it's like, bear with Harrison Ford, please. But like, the game though is like Uncharted, but Uncharted is Indiana Jones, and this is basically an Uncharted game as Indiana Jones. I haven't played it yet. I'm looking forward to playing it. I just have a big docket right now, and I want to focus time on.
That's mine.
And but I've watched people stream it, and I can't watch this anymore. I'm spoiling too much, so I have to turn it off. But I'm like sucked in whenever I watch anything on Indiana Jones. So to me, that's why it's my best IP of the year.
But it's not Astrobot. It's Astrobot. It's Astrobot. It's Astrobot. That's mine. I mean, really, when you come out just guns blazing like that and not even know it, like you don't care. You just put out the best product that you can. And it shows. And it plays like that. Like, the passion is in that game, and it's just, wow. And I can tell it within the first couple of maps. Team Asobi put their love, their heart, their soul into that game.
Yep.
And it showed. And it absolutely showed. That is, to me, I don't know if it's like the best new IP until I play it. And I played a little bit of it, and just by playing a little bit of it, like, I'm gonna have to get guides on this thing just to figure out like where all the people are, because that's what I want to do now. That way I can get this big old PlayStation 5 spaceship. Yes, that's what it is. Just up off the ground. So now, I mean, that's one that I want to see what else comes out with it. Like, we already know that there's like a new DLC for it.
Yep.
Like, damn, and it's free. It's free. I'm not done with this one. I'm not done with this one. No. So what's worst game of the year? You already said it. You already did. Suicide Squad had the greatest potential of any other game going into 2024. And it absolutely flopped. It did. There's another game that did it, and I bet you got that one.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on your selection.
But it absolutely flopped. And so many people within that development community said, we're sorry, we're going to try and fix it. Well, guess what, people? They're out of time. The last season came out for it, and now the game's just going to die. It's done. It's over. That painful, excruciating, I can't go there any more than that type of game is finally going to be over. And I'm not saying that people should be punished over it. This is just DC going after money.
Yep.
And that's what it was. And
at the beginning, it wasn't. It was not that way at the beginning.
Right. Not in the beginning, but in the end, like, we got to make this into a cash cow. No, you don't. That ruins the game. That ruins the game. Don't be a cash cow. Don't ruin the game. Put your heart, your soul, your passion into it, and you could have been Astrobot. Could have been Astrobot. Absolutely.
Well, if it did any worse, Joe, it would be my worst game of the year. And that's Concord.
That's the other one.
I mean, this is how bad this game was, is that it came out, and after 2 weeks, the sales were so bad that they shut it down and they refunded the game.
They had to.
This is probably one of the worst games of all time as far as, what it was. Like, within the first 3 days, they issued refunds and shut it down because of how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And, it sucks because, they obviously were like, hey, we got to release this. We put this much time and money into it. And the reason why now we find out with Secret Level releasing this last 2 weeks is that they had a episode on Secret Level, which is of course about all the game franchises, or like what would really happen if it was a movie, like Inspiration. And so that's pretty much why it was there. And so, yeah, so Concord just just terrible. And then you get your money back. So like, I mean, what was it? It was like, you know, it was like a shooter based game. It was going to be an esport, and it cost $40, and it was a big flop, a big mistake, and a big flop by Sony, and I don't know. It's just
it was just bad.
Yeah, just bad. I mean, it was like Overwatch, but like we know the graphics were there.
It was worse than Overwatch.
It was like Team Fortress 2, but like with better graphics. But then like overall, like it just was too difficult. Like it didn't really feel like you were able to do anything. And I don't know, it was weird. Obviously they wanted to be an esport. That was the whole idea behind it. And it just flopped. No one really cares about it because it's $40. Now, if they would have started this out as a free-to-play, Joe, it would be one of the bigger games of the year as a free-to-play because people love free-to-play. But when there's free-to-play options, they're going to go with free-to-play options. It's like a mix between
because there's more money to be made in free-to-play.
It's like TF2 meets Fortnite.
Right.
That's what when you think about the gameplay and how it feels. But like Fortnite's that way because you get to build structures and everything, and it's like people are okay with Fortnite because it's a classic now. But it's just big no thank you on this one, and hey, they canceled it. Definitely one of the worst games of the year. And so you know we go into the next one, which is the most regretful game of the year. Now this is the most regretful, as in I can't believe I purchased this game. Why did I buy this game? You're regretful for purchasing it. Not that it's a bad game. It's just like you just don't play it and you don't ever see yourself picking it up. And then by the time you might play it, it's like it's on Steam sale for $5. Like that's the whole idea behind this category. I was thinking about this the other day because mine is Madden 25. I'm not gonna play it, Joe, and it just went on sale for 80% off. It's like $20, and I paid $70 for that or $60 because I got the bundle, and I don't play it. I don't have any time to play it. I just don't have time to play it. And I should have known this when I was, you know, when the other game, you know, the NCAA came out with it. But I played that quite a bit. But this one I never played. And so it's like, it's my most regretful purchase of gaming this year. You know, it's just like I gifted to one of my friends. I gifted Demon's Souls. It was still wrapped up, Joe, from when I bought it's 4 years old. I've been sitting and have that game. I bought it when I got the PS5, and I never played it because I had all these other games to play. I had the PSN Plus, and then there was free games on there I played. You know, it's just, and I was playing WoW, so like I have no time to really sit down and play a lot of games that are like, you know, when I have another game I'm already playing that's similar to it, and I want to finish it, or I have a goal to set in it that I want to play. And so, to me, that's my most regretful game of the year.
It's Stellar Blade. I picked it up, and because everything looked good on it, and I knew that the game was going to do well, and it did, but even on easy mode, it's too difficult. It's too difficult. It's too hard for me. I can't do it. I can't do it. Can't play it. I mean, it's still a great game. I'm not doubting that at all. No. You don't find out if games are for you or not until you pick it up and play it.
Yep.
And that is a game that I just can't do it. It's too difficult. Stellar Blade.
That's why demos are so great in this day and age. Is that they put a demo out, you can see if you like it.
That's true.
That's why I like early access, because using early access, if you can refund it really quickly. So, but yeah, that's our little bit of a precursor awards for most regretful, which was a new category this year. But because of Madden, I was like, we have to have, because obviously we all buy games out there that are good games. Like Madden to a lot of people is the game of the year for sports. Perfectly valid and fine, right?
Right.
But to me, it's my most regretful because I bought it. I bought it. I never played it, and I won't play it for the rest of the year. So why did I buy it? Just throw the money away in the toilet. Would be more. Look, we guys spin around in a circle. I would have more entertainment out playing Madden this year. Give that nice visual for everybody out there.
Yeah,
As we get right back from this last word from ourselves, and we get into our top 10 games of the year.
Fly Audible and travel the world. Listen up and settle back with thousands of destinations to explore. Treat your ears to an epic stay beyond the wall. Travel long haul to Mars. It'll take your breath away. How does a city break in friendly Gilead sound? Everyone's welcome. Whether it's a spellbinding trip to Hogwarts or traveling back in time to ancient Greece, we'll get you there in style. There is another way to get away. The difference is Audible.
And to support the show and get a free audiobook, visit audibletrial.com/groupquest.
So here we are, Joe.
Here we
Top
go.
10 games of
Top
the year.
10, let's go.
So let's just keep rolling through, so we can get people. Everybody, hey, wake up! Hey, lay off the turkey,
Wake up,
lay off the
wake
ham.
up.
Get back! Hey, we're back. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So I'll start first. My number 10 game of the year. Now I'll do a little preface here for correct. I opened up a sheet and I have it here on my phone. I don't know what I'm doing there. But no, so my criteria this year is different. Last year and the year previously, ever since we've been doing it, which is I think is the last few years, was always like just the games that were coming out that were good, and I knew they were a good game, but I had no time to play it. This year I'm saying no. I have either purchased it or I definitely will play it because I have another game in the franchise, for instance, which I know you probably already know which I'm talking about. And so like I played it or I will play it definitely. I'm just waiting for it to go on a sale. Like this is a guaranteed playthrough by me. Where the other ones I know it's a good game. I know it's on there, but I'm not going to play it. It's just not a game for me. Like Stray, for instance, even though it was free, I own it. But I'm not going to play it. It's just not a game for me. I just don't have.
You should.
I know I should, but right now I have other games that I want to play, and I have limited time. So that's how it is. Like, there's so many games this from than it used to be.
All right.
Right. You know.
Right.
And remember, we used to only play WoW back in the day. That's the only game I would play. Maybe I'd play a couple shooters. So for one, I have League of Legends is not on my list, and I know that's probably be a shocker, but they really didn't release anything this year.
Right.
It's just the same game over and over again. Now, if it was ongoing, it would be number 1 by a mile. For ongoing would be League of Legends. But I have played a lot of League of Legends this year because it basically replaced Overwatch 2 for me. But in a game that is actually on my top 10, which we talked about in the show today, which I think you might also have on your sheet as well, World of Warcraft: War Within is on my sheet. I'm actively playing this game, so I haven't finished it. But from so far that I've played, it is the second most fun. Dragonflight actually had the most fun playing when I was speed running through it because it was so easy to play and the storyline was intuitive. And I was like, oh, what's happening here? Oh, cool dragons. That's awesome. Like, why is a black flag? What happens here with the storyline? It got me interested in the lore of the game. And so Dragonflight, if I would have played Dragonflight last year, it might have been on my top 10 of the year. But War Within definitely is. Not just the opening cinematic, which was, one of the best of all time. Of that one, but because of the gameplay is just so much more refined. They've definitely done a lot more polishing. Yes, there's issues with certain classes. Warbands is a huge positive. It looks so cool to log in and see warbands. A lot of the UI improvements and just the functionality, the shared banking, the shared shared items that you can send, like BOP items you can send on yourselves. Like it has a little flag that you can share them. It's just across the board to me. World of Warcraft: War Within, number 10. So it's like I'm acknowledging as my top 10 game, but I can't really put it above the other ones that are on here on the list. However, thumbs up for me. Very fun to play. Any thoughts on my 10 or your number 10, Jim?
I reserve thoughts on your number 10 for later on. My number 10.
Reserve the time.
Yes, I reserve the time. My number 10 is something I already spoke before, not too long ago, and that's Stellar Blade. This was the game that set the table for every other game this year. We knew that coming into the year. We said that this is going to be the one that's going to set everything in motion, and oh boy, did it. I mean, look, I can't play it. It's not for me. I tried it. I spent some time in the game. I tried it. It's still just really, really good. in that aspect. So, okay, let me preface my criteria here. One, expansions are still cool. Everything from last year is still good. It's just that this year I was able to play more games. So now my top 10 is going to be everything that I played and had some time in a game for that released from January 1 to current day. Okay? So within that 11 to 12 month time span.
Okay.
And
so what's
that,
your number 9 then from this list?
Here's where everything gets real muddled up. Because really, there's no number for anything else until like we get to 3, 2, and 1. Dave the Diver. I'm putting it number 9. Once again, this is something that I can get into if I can build up the interest to do it.
This is the which expansion was this? The jungle one or which one?
They're going to the jungle next.
Well, what's the one with Godzilla this year? I think, wasn't it?
No, they've had some stuff to do with some other franchises. I think they did one with Godzilla before, and I think that's what you're confusing it with. But no, they're going full on expansion into the jungle, and I think that's out now. Or no, that's out soon. That's out soon. So anyway, Dave the Diver is number 9, Galvin. What do you think? What do you think about Dave the Diver being right there? And what is your number 9?
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones that are like a dark horse game too. So you know, that's the one that people just, because a lot of their games come out, and when a game comes out so early, it's very difficult. You just get washed away. Which, when I went through and got a list of what came out this year, I was like, wow, there's a lot of good games that came out I completely forgot about. One so is in my top 3. That's how many games have come out. I completely forgot about this game. Oh yeah, that's right. That game was great, and it's definitely a game on my short list. So the one on my short list, which I still need, I have the original, which is loaded actually up into my PS5, but this is the one that'll be played right afterwards. And of course, that's the DLC Elden Ring Shadow of the Elder Tree. Excuse me. That's my number 9 game of the year, and because it just takes upon the storyline of the first. Yes, it's a secondary game. It's basically like a DLC, but it is it expands on it so well that it's better than 99% of the games out there, and it doesn't. It feels like it's a new IP, even though it's not. And I just have to put it up there. I just have to put up. It's Elden Ring is such a great franchise. I mean, it helps that George R.R. Martin was one of the franchise writers of it. You could definitely tell his influence on the fantasy. I just wish he would spend more time on Winds of Winter than these games, but I understand why he's not. I have a theory about that, but that'll be for another day. But yeah, my number 9 is what was I saying? Elden Ring Shadow of the Elder Tree. What's your number 9, Joe?
I already did number 9.
Oh, well, I didn't write down.
Number 8. I think you got to do number 8 first.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't write down your Dave the Diver on my little sheet here for you.
Yeah.
My number 8, which is probably a shocker to some, but it's Warhammer Space Marine 2.
Interesting.
That game, again, this is
it
one
that's
really it's high on the list, because meaning high as in bottom of the list, with number 8, because I haven't played it yet. However, it is definitely on my list to buy once it starts getting the discounts. And also, it's one of the ones I watched the most people play before. It's one of those ones I said, I can't watch this anymore. I'm going to play it. And that was why it's on here, is because I really want to play this game. And the reason why is because I know that the person behind now the secret level Warhammer episode, which I watched a little bit of, but I haven't sat down and watched it fully, and I want to do that soon. It's one of the most, like, he's an art cinema. Like, you think of the Twitch emote cinema. That's what this guy is. He's such a visionary in Warhammer. He gets everything exactly perfect. And the only reason I know mostly about Warhammer is because of Total Biscuit, playing it in D&D fashion with a role play back in the day, and I listened to that whole entire thing with him in it as a character, and that's where I got into Warhammer from that. I don't do the paint the characters or anything, but I just like the atmosphere. It's such a huge depth to characters, and this is going on Titus, who's one of the biggest names of them all, and yeah, very very thumbs up from me for that, and that's my number 8, Warhammer Space Marine 2. Joe, what is your number 8?
Number 8, Visions of Mana. This is a Visions game. The title's longer than that.
It's basically Mana.
No, it's still Visions of Mana. This is one of the games that I did complete this year. And really, the storyline was it's an RPG. The storyline was cool. I loved the fact that that's an ongoing story. So you go from one Visions game to another Visions game to another Visions game. And still, it came out like really, really linear. It wasn't up for any award. But it didn't have to be. It was still there for people to come in and play. It was really, really good. I mean, just really well done. Really well done.
I think this is the predecessor of Secrets of Mana, which was one of the all-time greats, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one that I was thinking of, the Secret of Mana. That's the original,
right?
From SNES, which I did play a lot of at SNES, but I never finished it. I always played a ton of it. I always kept coming back to it, but I never finished it.
Right.
Just other stuff would come up at that time.
Well,
okay, great. What about?
Well done.
So what is your number 7 game, Joe?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that out. I'm just gonna take that. I'm gonna put that.
On the
fly. I'm putting that to Romancing the Saga. Revenge of the Seven. I see what I did there. No, still, once again, now this is a different type of RPG because there you're trading out your emperors every so on and again, because one emperor dies, another emperor comes in, and you're playing as that emperor. But you have to get all of the different factions under your control, because if you don't, all those other areas of the map are going to fall under darkness. And you are the light. Your country is the light. So in order to do that, you have to do like spells. You can trade in your people for other people. So long as you recruit other people and, this, that, the other thing. And you can build your city up. You can build your capital up. Just doing a whole bunch of this and that stuff. So really good on the concept. Once again, pretty good game. And if you see it on sale, Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven, go get it. It's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7. What's your number 7?
Balatro.
Nice.
My number 7 game. Now, This almost didn't make the list, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to play it. It's one of those games because, and this is when I found out, when I realized it was actually a mobile game. Even though it won a bunch of awards, I was like, oh, that's right, it's a mobile game. Is when I was doing this, I was like, oh yeah, I'll pick it up from my phone. Easy. That's an easy phone game.
Even though I put it up on GQDN, that it's going to be on iOS.
Yeah. So it's but I mean, it's a great. I mean, I put on my Switch Lite, so I can play it there.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that for me, that's what it is that it's going to be a great mobile game, a great easy game to play. It's similar to me like Papers, Please. Like I played the crap out of Papers, Please. Never could beat it. Got pretty close. But or like They Are Billions. It's a simple game, simple artistic style, but fun to play. And so Balatro for me is number 7 there. Pretty simple, easy. It's a little later for a lot of people, but it did. If I would not play it, would not be on my list at number 7. And so that for me, that goes right into my number 6 game, Joe. Palworld. Number 6, Palworld. Now I'm gonna wait for it to see if I can get it a little cheaper and have time to play it because I do want to go through and play it. But I know this is probably high in your list. But Palworld obviously is on here for me. That's a big game for this year, and so big so that we just talked about it. They got sued, and it's definitely my top 6. So it's got to my number 6 overall. And the only reason I don't have it up higher is because I'm not playing it actively right now, so I can't put a little more personal taste into it. But I've watched people play it. Obviously, you've been talking about it for a long time,
right?
And it's definitely a game I'll be playing. It's just that I'm not right now. I'm not playing it, so it is on my top tier list of ones to get though, along with Balatro and then Elden Ring, which after I finish the first one, I'll be playing. I will be going into that one right after, so I'll be doing like a whole 1-2 punch of Elden Ring when that happens. What about you, Joe? What are your thoughts on either my Palworld at 6 or your number 6 game right now?
Once again, I reserve Palworld. Number 6 for me. You just said it. It's Balatro.
Okay, that close. So yeah, that's about right.
We're very close on that one
Mm-hmm.
because of the gameplay. Because it's very easy to pick up, and you can stop at any time. It's one of those. At the end of the day, sit down, play it type of game. Wind down, and then you can go do your nighttime routine. You can go to bed. It's there for you, and it can be there at any time of the day. It is really good. It is really, really good. So where am I at? I'm at number 5, right?
Number 5, yeah.
All right, here's where things get a little bit more defined. NCAA Football 25. I said, why not? We got some heavy hitters going now, boys.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, this game came up on the scene, and yeah, we knew it's from EA. Okay, point taken. It's still just fun. Go in, play a game, and there's other things to do there, like you can go like the free agent route. Everything that's in college football right now is in that game. It's in that game right now.
Go ahead.
No other game does that. Nothing does that. And EA went in and did it because they got the developers in there. They have to make money off of it. But they got the developers in there that actually cared.
Mm-hmm.
They cared. And because that they cared, it's high up on the list, and I got some heavy hitters.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great spot for it at 5. It's the first football game from NCAA in 11 years.
Yes,
in a decade.
In a decade.
That, for a lot of us old school players, that's a big thing because I played the crap out of NCAA football back in the day. I played it way more than Madden, and that's all I played back in the day was I played World of Warcraft, America's Army, Madden, and NCAA. Those are the only 4 games I played throughout the year. And I would cycle between them. World of Warcraft was always there.
Yep.
America's Army when it was out at the time. Maybe at 13 wasn't out at that point, but I was only playing a few games. I wasn't playing a lot of games. And so that, though, I played NCAA, I played Madden. And so those are the 2 games I played the most and back in the day. And definitely look forward to it myself. So excellent choice there at 5. But 5 for me, Joe, Helldivers 2.
Yep, I saw that coming. It had to be in there somewhere.
And the reason why is because I put so many times, and now I want to come back to it. And the only reason is because of the player base is coming back to it. Now I'm still upset about what happened in the peak of everything, and it kind of shut me off of wanting to play it with Sony.
Yeah, that's Sony's fault. That's not the developer's fault.
But however, I took a step back, and then the creator of the game came back involved. And now it looks like it's getting better, so I might pick it up again. But right now it's League of Legends. Like I'm playing League of Legends right now. So once I start to feel like, League of Legends, I'm kind of getting bored of that. Helldivers 2, which is a free-to-play game. Well, not free-to-play. I bought it so I could play it, but I don't have to play anything else. But I'm might want to jump back in because of the stuff that's going on in there. But if I jump back in and I'm feeling like it's not for me, then I'll know it's not for me. So I will give it a second shot. But it has to be on my number 5 because how much I played it this year. It's one of my most played this year. Of course, number 1 being League of Legends, up there as well. So number 5, Helldivers 2. I definitely have to put that on the list. And then what is my number 4? You would ask, and I was asking you, but I'm asking myself. It's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Joe. My number 4. My number 4 game.
Understood.
And again, I have the first one, HD. We've talked about it many of times. Hey, which one should I play first, second, third? Because I want to play them all through for the entire storyline. That way I don't miss it. And so, but I have to have time. I want a bulk of time. Like that's my new path forward. Is like I'm not going to jump around between different games because I have to play them and I step away. I want to finish things, be done, and then go to the next game. I might dabble in like I'll play like League of Legends in between it, or maybe a couple other type of games like quick games, and they're like Vampire Hunters or Survivors, excuse me. If that comes out, I'm excited about playing that. Like I do want to play the Castlevania version or the Contra version. I think whichever one they released recently. But for me, it's number 4, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There's really not much I can say more about it. It's a great franchise. It's HD, great storyline. It should have won Game of the Year this year for me, in my opinion, of the ones that were there, or be really close to number 2. We don't know what the percentages were of how close it was. But that's my number 4, Joe. What is your number 4?
Life is Strange Double Exposure. What a storyline this is. And it's not done. It's not done. There's going to be a part 2 coming sometime. At least so long as the sales are there. They left the storyline open. Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
So who murdered Sophie? Well, for those who haven't played it yet and want to play it, I'm not going to say. But this storyline is open and we got Max back in a big, big way. Now, could have been higher. Yeah, it could have been because where's Chloe? Chloe and Max were the storyline for Life is Strange. The original Life is Strange. Don't Nod did a really good job. And I get why I was kind of left off of some of the Game Awards lists. I understand that, but still, this is a powerhouse game. And this was a really, really good job. Excellent storyline. How the characters react to each other and how you choose to react to players and how, because of your choices, how do they react to you? Very, very well done. Very, very well done. That's 4. Pal World is 3.
I thought so.
Oh boy, I spent so much time in this game. Even I knew that they were going to be under scrutiny from Nintendo. I just did not care, and I wasn't the only one. Like some of the Stack Up people were in there. Like John's at War was in there at some point, and we were just like not at the same time. We weren't teaming up or anything, but you can team up with people, and you could just go in and do like a solitary raid. You can capture pals if you want to. You can build up your base however you want to do it. And you can build up multiple bases. Yes. Yes, you can. It's really, really good. And they've come out with some extra stuff there after that fact.
Mm-hmm.
Just really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, and it's on my list at number 6 for that reason. If I had played it, maybe I'd be the same with you at 3. but it's just I had to shuffle it down. But it's not at the bottom with the other games that I have on the list. And yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it didn't win more. That's what to me. I mean, but again, a lot of these the gamers and the public that like games just like movies, they don't get the critical acclaim because they're like, well, this guy uses AI art for all of his stuff to start it out with, and he did, and he admits to it, and so they're like, we're not going to touch it, and so it's more of a political statement instead of looking at the game as a whole. Like, yeah, it's AI art, but like, you have to go in there and code all these things. Like, you have to create the game, and so. Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly what people wanted. Pokemon with guns, I think, is the best description I've ever heard of a game.
Yep, and that's what it is.
And yeah, so yeah, Palworld at 3 makes total sense. Now, for me at 3, Joe, Dragon's Dogma 2 is at number 3 for me. It's one of the ones that I want to play the most outside of Baldur's Gate 3. Like, if I go 1-2, that's 1-2 right there for me. Meaning that I haven't played. And so I was following it. I watched a bunch of streaming of it, watched people playing it, and it's every time I'm sitting there just watching it like I'm watching a TV show.
Yep.
And that's why I like it so much, is that it has a lot, like you said, voice detail, has a lot of questing, has the D&D push. It like hits all the buttons for me. And so I'm like, nope, I can't watch this anymore. I have to avoid it. And luckily other games were coming out at the time, so I could avoid it also. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2, my number 3 game of the year for me. As I hear a clown noise outside on someone's bicycle, I think.
Oh no.
They were honking at me because I said Dragon's Dogma 2 as my number 3. Maybe as my number 2, they're honking at me though, Joe. My number 2 game of the year is NCAA Football 2025.
Well done. Well done.
I played so much. I mean, I haven't played it recently. I've been playing more League of Legends, but I mean, I played like 100 hours, 200 hours of this game at least.
You and me both.
I've been waiting for, like I said, 11 years. That should have been a clue for anybody listening. We talked about when Joe picked it on his list.
11 years.
11 years I've been waiting for this game to come back. It's my most fun. The fight songs, being able to lead a program, recruiting. I mean, we always would talk about it on the show, when it came out and the areas around. I bought it. I pre-ordered it and Madden. And that's why, like, Madden, my disappointing game of the year, my most regretful purchase is because I'm not going to play it because I want to play NCAA football instead. Like, why am I going to play Madden? I want to play NCAA football. Like, it's higher tier for me than Madden. And I've always been a Madden fan. I've always played it. And it's like, especially during times of football, of course, 49ers suck right now in 2024. So, like, I don't really want to play football games. But if they're winning and they're the number 1 seed, I'd be all pumped up and excited about football. But outside of college, and college is happening right now. So like right now we're in the college playoff, right. and like, being able to get a character and recruit him up through the ranks, and play as him in the games, and then get him drafted like number 3 overall in the draft, like that's something that I always wanted in NCAA football forever. And they finally have it this year. They've done such a great job at bringing it back. And I think they still need to get better at like the commentary. I still don't like how the commentary is, but that's just going to happen. I think when AI starts taking over more in these games, like probably 2027, 2028, college football, that's probably where it'll be really crazy, because when AI starts randomly generating the voiceovers, that's when it's going to be like, wow, this is like you're watching a real life television show. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing at one point. They'll take a stab at it. But yeah, number 2, NCAA football 2K25 is, or EA, I say 2K25, 2025 by EA Sports. Number 2 game of the year for me. What is your number 2 game of the year, Joe?
It's Astrobot. It's Astrobot. I'm doing it again. It's heavy hitter after a heavy hitter, and oh, wow. I've spoken a lot about this game because it deserves it. It's number 2. It's game of the year. It's passion and love and everything that goes into a game that should go into a game that they're allowed to do. And the door was open. No one plays with controls more than Astrobot. Nobody. This game is just phenomenal, Gilvin. It's phenomenal. You should try it. You should try it. You should try it. It's excellent. Number 2.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those ones I'll wait till it's on sale and like $5 or something in a store. Or more likely,
that
more
would be a
likely
phenomenal sale.
It's more likely it'll be part of like your monthly game, the PSN games. That's probably where it'll go. Eventually.
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, but like you said, there's gonna be DLC. There's gonna be all this add-on stuff they're gonna be doing.
Right. But I don't think. Okay. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Will it? Will it happen like maybe a couple years down the road? Okay, maybe it will. Not for the next year. No. It is too successful. And when you're Sony, your Xbox, your Nintendo, you got a hold of that cash cow. You want to milk it for all it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something. This is an award winner, and people are picking it up because it's an award winner, and it's just they're loving the game. They're loving it. But I am a fanboy. And when you complete a game and you're a fanboy of certain RPGs, remake, going into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that is number 1. You want to call me out for it? Fine. Call me out for it. I don't care. This game reset the bar that Stellar Blade set. And by God, they did. Excellent gameplay, storytelling, the fact that you could have a board game within a game. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
That was just fun. Absolute fun. And then you have another game within the game. You go to a 3D space, and you go in as kind of like the original 2D characters. Not in the 3D set that they have now. Or almost 4D set. And you almost have to play like Warcraft Rumble in Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
That was very, very interesting in itself. They put some extra stuff in there. They put some other stuff in there. And it really is filling out this whole Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. Okay, we're talking about the original 3. The other one was a spin-off. The one with Zack in it was a spin-off of Final Fantasy VII. That's the way that it happened way back in the day. And that's kind of the way that they treated it, but if you go by the timeline, you had to go Zack first. Because Zack started the whole Sephiroth storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So Sephiroth does have an effect on this. He is one of the top villains in all the video games. If not the top villain in all the video games. Just the way that he's written. And still, Square Enix, when they hit them out of the park, they hit them out of the park. And this one was a home run. And we shall see what Part 3 brings here in the next couple of years. What do you think about number 1? And what's your number 1?
I mean, I like I said, I think this could easily been up high for me. Just because I haven't played it yet. Because I haven't played, the first one either. So once I get through them, I'd be like, oh yeah, that should have been Game of the Year. I mean, I think it should have won, like I mentioned before, or been like way up there, or won a couple different categories than it did because of how well it was done. But the number 1 game I picked for the year, Joe, is one I thought should have won. And I think I got killed just for no reason, in my opinion. Black Myth Wukong. That's my number. That's my game of the year. This is one where I haven't played. It's on my list to play because it's similar to Elden Ring. It's kind of that Souls-like style. But I watched someone play almost the entire game. And so I was invested in the game of playing it, what to do, go get like your weapons, do side quests, things like that. And so I was invested there. I wasn't watching it all the time, but like the boss fights were so cool. It was obviously, the graphics were excellent. They were playing on PC. And I thought that for a storyline that it was about, and especially being a Chinese-based game, that maybe it would get a chance, an opportunity, but in the end it didn't. With Astrobot. But yeah, for me it was Black Myth Wukong. It was my number one game of the year.
Very good. Very good. And really,
no WoW on your list though?
You know what?
I'll be like honorable mention.
That would be because, like I said, mine is just stacked. There was a lot of great games this year. And WoW would be on one of those. You know, because any other year, it would be there. But look at all the other games that came out. Phenomenal game, phenomenal game, phenomenal game, phenomenal game. And anywhere, say, outside of my top 3, actually top 4, you could have put The World Within there anywhere. I got 12 games up here. 2 of them wasn't going to make it. I'm sorry, I got 13 games up here. 3 of them wasn't going to make it. 3 of them wasn't going to make it. Dragon Quest III Remake did not make it. World of Warcraft, World Within. And Dragon's Dogma 2. Because I played them. They didn't make it. They're still, okay, maybe not Dragon Quest 3, but the other 2 are very strong games. So, hey, I'm happy with my list. Because I'll put that list up against anybody else's.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a great year of gaming. And
it has been.
We're definitely looking forward to next year in 2025, which will be coming up next on the next release of the show. And so for myself or for Joe, where can they find you on the internet if they want to get in contact with you?
I am on twitch.tv/JoeSpace, twitch.tv/StackUp.org, and at Joe Brums on Twitter and Blue Sky. Golden, where can we find you, sir?
On Twitter at GoldenVersus, YouTube.com/GoldenVersus, and of course Twitch.tv/Golden. And the MonkcraftPodcast.com, where I have all of these archive episodes of me talking about Monk stuff. And eventually, when I finish the WoW expansion, it'll be there too. If you want to get in contact with the show, it's show@thegroupquest.com, on Twitter at GroupQuest, and of course Patreon.com/thegroupquest. Twitch.tv/DawnForge, where every Saturday from 2:30 to 5:30 Pacific, 5:30, 8:30 Eastern. You can find us there streaming. And of course, SwiftEnergy.gg. That's SwiftEnergy.gg. Use the promo code QUEST at checkout to receive 25% off your next order. Again, SwiftEnergy.gg, and use promo code QUEST. And for myself and for Joe, we'll see you on the other side of I meant Joe. Merry Christmas, everyone.
And that's the end of that one. All right, to everyone.
It writes a lot better than I said it. The delivery was off a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, I
was a little distracted because Texas was trying to cram it in to go bound by another score, and they got over on downs.
Yep. I mean, Clemson's trying to keep it close, but that running attack by Texas.
Well, they're down right now, so we'll see what happens now.
No, they completed a pass. Texas got the pass completed.
Got the first down?
Yep. First down.
I have like the play-by-play, so it's not updated for me.
Yep. First down with 4:40 left to go in the game.
Yeah, it's probably the game right there. That's probably it. Okay. Is he up? Download. 1 second while I get this down. I just want to make sure I can get it downloaded, and then once it's downloaded, then I'll start him back up. I think I could go right away, but just to be
right. That's my external. I could just stop it and then start it again.
Yeah.
No, that's fine because it's still just this has turned out to be like a really good game. Like Clemson got it down to a score, to a touchdown, and Texas went right down the field. Bang, bang, bang. Like Clemson had a 14-point run.
And Derrick Henry has 162 yards today. Wow.
No NFL today. I do not plan on watching NFL today. Even though that Penn State game was just, wow. I said Penn State was going to show up. Oh boy, did they. Good God. Penn State just went nuts. Of course, there was a couple of interceptions that said otherwise. Oh, Texas got another first down again. They ran the ball. Right now, Texas is saying, if you can't stop us running, we're just going to keep running the ball. That was a good block to set the edge, and once that edge was set, that number 9 running back was gone down the sideline.
Oh, they just score again?
No, they did not score again. They got a first down. Went 20 yards for it. Right now.
Well, I mean, it's over. The time is over.
Yeah, they're set up on the 49.
Almost got it.
All right, we ready? Or is these still downloading?
Now recording.
Okay.
Download. Okay, great. There we go. Okay. So let me get back to my spot. Okay. Ready?
All right, let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Defenders of the Alliance and warriors of the Horde. Heroes of Overwatch, Sanctuary, and the Koprulu sector. This is Group Quest, a roundtable podcast from Dawnforge Productions. Join us as we gather a collection of strong voices from around the community. Now, here are our hosts, Golvin and Joe.
And welcome back to Group Quest, everybody, in this special Top Games of 2025, where I pick all the correct games. That will be the top games of the year, and Joe picks all the incorrect ones. Yes. As we just
actually, we'll go about half and half. How about that? That's
no,
what,
I'm
that's
always
what
right
happening.
all the time. Many people say,
no,
Joe,
you're not.
many
No,
people,
you're not.
Only the best people, Joe.
Only
say,
the best people. Wrong.
Everyone says I only pick the best games.
Nope.
No one
nope,
does it better than me.
Nope.
Many people say this. We got 4 more years of that. 4 more plus years, or
four more years.
Between 0 and 4 plus years of that.
Yes.
More to do. So get used to my terrible impersonations and terrible sayings. But yeah, so so of course is the one of the first 2 episodes of the year. Last week, as you listened to, we went through the top games of 2024. So now we're going into the games on the horizon, the most hyped stuff. We just got with the Game Awards, which talked about a lot of hype games coming out. actually didn't talk about a lot of hyped games. There was a lot of games that like were big ones coming out, but they weren't really like a ton of games. I actually rewatched it again. I said that previously.
Right.
I watched it last night actually, and so I was like kind of freshened up on the games of the year. And when I watched it, I was like, there's not that many actually games in 2025 announced here. There's a lot of people talking about games they're going to be doing or they're actually working on, but not like what's coming soon. So we're going to dive into that, Joe. So we're going to dive right in head first, and we'll do some predictions at the end. So this is going to be kind of a split, a little bit of a short. It's going to be a shorter show than normal. But we're going to go in just quickly and go over the top 10 top games of 2025 and go through those. And then go over the games of our predictions for this year that's going to be happening as of right now, what we can see is happening and coming out next year. So the big thing is with the 2025 there's a lot of games that are very excited to happen. None other than yet in January. The first one out of the gate for me, Joe, that I'm most excited about is, of course, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC. And the reason why is because of the graphics quality. It's coming out in January. It's right out of the gate. We're coming out strong with that, along lines of Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which is coming out for all of them: PS5, Xbox, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And then Spider-Man 2 for PC. So we have more of the PC adaptations happening in January. January is usually the quieter month because of, everybody just bought a bunch of games in December to play. We'll probably have some World of Warcraft stuff as well coming out in January. But what are your thoughts on January for yourself, Joe, on coming out? Anything that catches your eye, or is it similar to what I have?
Well, I think it's more similar than to what you have, because really there's not a lot coming out original for January, and really it never does. We'll take Marvel Spider-Man 2, for instance. That's going to come out in PC January 30th. And once again, it's going to be just one of those things that it's just going to be a great graphics increase just because it went out on PC. Now, that would go strictly to the players and their PCs, depending what PC that they have. It goes the same with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's just going to be going from Xbox console or Nintendo or PlayStation console over to PC. So January is going to be a bit of a down month.
But not February, though.
Outside of all that. But no, February.
Go for
February.
This is what I like about this when we get like them listed by month, because you go, what the hell? What did everybody decide that we're gonna release all our games in February? Well, let's go down the bangers. So the one I'm definitely gonna be playing is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which got bumped up. And then looking at the list, I know now why it did is because the Civilization 7 comes out on the 11th, which is right at the same time as that one, alongside Assassin's Creed Shadow as well, which is I think the 14th originally was when it come out.
3 days later.
And on the 7th, there's a Legend of Heroes is coming out as well, and Avowed on the 18th of February, followed up by Monster Hunter Wilds at the end of the month, Joe. So this is like the biggest release I think of the year. When we're in February, and again, this happened a couple of years ago where they released like everything in February, and then we might have a discussion about a console during February as well. And so I think February is going to be the most hyped, which makes sense, right? Because January, there's going to be a potential switchover of administrations here in the United States. If you're outside of and you don't know, that's when that happens at the end of January. And so people get kind of nervous around that time period. And so February is like, okay, stuff's happening.
February's go time. February's go time.
So what is the game in there that, I mean, I could see myself playing all of these games, but what, if you had to select like the top two, now one of them for me, I already said, is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but what is your top two of the month, and what are your thoughts on the other ones released?
Avowed's number one. I'm getting that thing straight up when it comes out on PC. Haven't pre-purchased it yet, but I plan to. But still, when that comes out, that's going to be right to the inbox. let's go. And then we'll see how it plays from there. What's going to be number 2? Okay, a lot of big games here, but not a lot of them my style. So, Monster Hunter Wild's going to do really well. Assassin's Creed Shadows, hello. Sid Meier's Civilization 7. I can't talk. All of these games are going to be banger games. Okay? And I'm going to say Assassin's Creed Shadows will be my number 2. I'm not going to say that I'm going to get it or not. I don't know. But still, it's going to be very, very curious. So, this is going to be one heck of a month, February.
It's going to be a stuffed month. Yeah.
It's going to be stuffed month.
It's going to be a lot of, it's a lot of gaming. And then when you think about it, they're like, okay, well, I mean, looking into and then going into March, really not that. I mean, there's the first Berserker Kazan at the end of the month, at the 27th. March is kind of like a not really too much that I can think of. I mean, there's there's obviously Sudoku 1 and 2 HD remastered Rune and Dunification Wars, or Dunification Wars. But outside of that, I think March is where we'll be playing all these games. Oh, Tales of the Shire, Lord of the Rings game, that's coming out. That looks like a kids game though, more of a kids style game.
Doesn't matter. It's still coming out that time.
But looking at the list, I think that's probably going to be the biggest one. Biggest one there. There's the Atelier Yumiya, the Alchemist of Memories, and the Envisioned Land. Not sure. There's nothing really about that one yet, but it says it's coming out in March. Maybe we'll get more of information soon. Oh, Split Fiction. No, Split Fiction is a big one. That's the one that at Game Awards, but it's not for me. So that I think February games I'll be playing in March myself. What about you, Joe? Anything that comes out on that list for you?
Maybe you're looking for this on PC as well. Suikoden 1 and 2. I dabbled in the Suikoden franchise a little bit, so that's kind of got my interest. This isn't going to be a big a month. This is going to be like a bit of a roller coaster. So February is the big month. Now we come off the big month into like a little bit smaller month. But still there's some good games in here. Atomfall. We've seen a lot of stuff about Atomfall. The first Berserker Kazan in March. Once again, we've seen a lot of things about that. Very interesting stuff. Tales of the Shire, which you said before. Once again, very interesting stuff. It's going to be, what will people pick up at that time? I don't know. Like I said, it might be Suikoden. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, that's
only going to be on. Okay, hold on. That's only going to be on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. Okay, because it doesn't need the bigger graphics to it, but it's also going to be on PC because you get some more money out of PC. Okay, but nope. I think that's going to be it for March, though.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we're really kind of heavy right now. Now, there's a lot of games that are we know are coming, but there's no like dates right now, hard dates for the middle of the
or the sites have not been updated as to when the dates have come out.
But I think that's what we're going to see the most of. And so what we're going to do is April is another one. There's the only one is the Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is the only game that's out there that looks like promising that's going to be coming out, and that's in April 21st. But this is where we so there's going to be a game that we're going to talk about here shortly. It might be like, oh, wow, this is going to be great. I can't wait to see it. But it might come out in March or in April. But it's not yet announced. They'll probably start announcing it in January because they don't want to, like, they're okay. They realize people are okay not giving a release date. They just don't want you to, like, do a release date and keep bumping it backwards, right? So there might be a game that maybe could have been released in February. And they're like, hey, let's hold. up into March or maybe April. And so those haven't been announced yet. But one that has been announced outside of the entire thing is Double Dragon Revive, which is, of course, the big one at the Game Awards. That is coming on October 23rd. That's a set in stone date. I think it's probably almost already ready to be done. They're probably beta testing, alpha testing the gameplay. But yeah, I think that's a good one that's going to be coming out.
Yeah, that's only a big, massive game right there. You know.
So
why not let it have the whole month to itself, and everybody else can just fly off into the wind.
I mean, if we go through games A through C, so we're gonna scroll through. I'm gonna scroll through there, and then look at a couple ones that I think are outliers. And if I don't say anything, Joe, you can jump into. 2XKO is one of the bigger ones. That's the one that is like the Twitch streamers we're all playing. I think it's Valve is the one that's promoting that one as well. Or is it Riot? Oh, Riot. So it's Riot's upcoming 2v2 team-based fighting game with League of Legends champions. And so that's going to be coming up. It says it's going to release in 2025, probably after the League of Legends playoffs, or in between them, because they're doing a 3-tiered system this year to try to get more excitement and revenue for the game and for the esports. So that's going to be coming out this next year.
I'll bring up Borderlands 4.
Yeah, that was to say Borderlands 4. That's a
Borderlands
big one.
4. That's going to be a huge one for the bees.
Yep.
I mean, that game's going to do very well, very well.
Yeah, Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is probably going to be one that if you like those games you'd want to pick up, but really not too much there. Then we go into yeah, I think that's actually pretty much it. There might be some games in here that like by Lena I don't know anything about. But it might be one that's on here. It's like, oh, that's really good. That's going to be coming out soon. Into the C's, I don't really see anything. Into the D's, though, we obviously have Death Stranding 2 on the beach for PlayStation 5.
Yep, that's going to be
exclusive.
Huge.
That's going to be coming out this year at some point. My guess is probably in October or September. That's what my intuition says is probably when it's going to come out.
Doom, the Dark Ages speaks right there. Doom, the Dark Age is going to come out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Look out. And you've seen trailers for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Looks great. Yeah, it looks really great.
Yes, it does.
Doom with Dragons, if anybody doesn't know out there. Doom with Dragons. Another great game that's going to be coming out next year is the Dune Awakening. And I'm looking forward to that. That's like an MMO Dune. Now, the only worrisome I have is it's been so long since that. Like, they could have been out now or coming out here shortly, and I think it'd do really well. But if the longer it goes, it could be negatively affected. But we do have that one. That one's there. Any ideas? What are your thoughts on that and the Dune Awakening? Or are you looking more to, Joe, to Dying Light, the Beast, which, of course, was at the Games Award there, too. But what are your thoughts to that on those games?
How about Dragon Ball Project going on iOS, Android, and PC, which is why it's on here. The D's right now don't look too bad. They got some good titles, good strong titles in here. And once again, we don't know because we don't know. How
some
the
of these might be
look.
like, yeah, no, well, not just that, but it's
like Desperate Drops or
yeah.
Dragonkin the Banished.
Yeah, that could be like a Game of the Year candidate as far as we know.
It could very well be.
But the ones that we do know about, Elden Ring, The Night Rain, that's coming out sometime this year.
Yep.
Next year, in 25, and of course that's gonna be looking like it's gonna be really good. Another Elden Ring kind of DLC expansion type. Going down the list, Game of Thrones, King's Road.
Charles Strand.
That's iOS.
Okay.
And, what was that?
Okay, first off, for Football Manager 25, soccer people are gonna love that one.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be absolutely huge. That's gonna come out obviously this year. Game of Thrones, King's Road, iOS and Android. Phone game, we'll see how it does. Come on.
Well, I mean, it's not a phone game. I think the Game of Road's King's Road. That's the one with. I think it's just that they have it listed there, but is it really a
phone
mobile game?
iOS,
I
Android.
thought-
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's a mobile game though.
It's listed mobile. It's listed mobile. Just saying. You know that there's a big G game in there. But come on. It's going to come out in 26. The tea leaves are there for Grand Theft Auto 6 to be released in 26.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt if it's going to be released in 25.
Well,
I'd be
it
happy if
goes-
it would.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
I don't think so either. I think it's going to get pushed back.
I think it's going to be pushed back too.
And it's going to be, they're just going to talk about it in the summertime. Maybe there'll be a couple trailers again, but it'll be more like this time next year, 26 or in February or March of 26.
It is going to be very interesting. Let's preface next year. What usually comes out about January, February, March. What announcements, or he usually brings out announcements about that time? Xbox.
Yeah.
Now, Grand Theft Auto is not going to be on Xbox, but you can tell in some ways because if Rockstar wants to marry themselves up against, let's say, any of the racing games that come out on Xbox, you know PlayStation won't leave that alone. No. They would want Rockstar to put out Grand Theft Auto depending on what the Xbox announcements are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we'll see about that. And of course, we'll keep you apprised on GQDN when that happens.
Yeah. Well, Ghost of Yotai looks really great too to me. That's
Right.
like that's what's up on there. Greedfall 2 looks interesting. So like there's a lot of good games coming out. Hunter x Hunter and then Impact. That's again, Hunter x Hunter is a great anime series, but that's one that's going to be there. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
The PlayStation 5. Let's go. Let's
PS5,
go.
yeah, that's gonna be great.
That's gonna be
that's
fun.
gonna be in 2025. When we don't know, obviously.
I might just get that. I might just get that on PC though.
Yeah. Probably.
I might do that.
We'll see.
That way.
Then we go down the list as well. There, Killing Floor 3 is coming out. That people are excited about that one. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, which is of course is an old NES game, I believe, and that's coming out as a remake. I remember we talked about that
A whole bunch of different
before.
platforms for that one.
Yeah, and
Judas
so
looks really good. Did you
Yeah.
see that? Did you see that trailer? Good Lord. Woman, settle down. Settle down, girl. And that's going to be
Yeah, so it's like,
PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, and PC. Good. Killing
Yeah,
Floor,
that coming out. Go ahead.
Killing Floor 3. I believe you've seen some of the videos for that one.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good game, and but you never know though. Once you get into play the storyline, maybe there's a lot of bugs and problems with it. So even though the concept is good,
we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe in the end it's not that. But yeah, it's coming out though this year. Another one, Little Nightmares 3, is scheduled to come out this year, but
I know some people is gonna be loving that one.
Yeah, but that could get
I know some people gonna be loving that one.
Yeah, that could get.
I've seen some of my stack up buddies playing some Little Nightmares, and 3 is gonna come out, and oh boy, here we go. Let's bring that out in fall like everything else, and just scare the living crap out of everybody.
Yeah. Another game that another one that's on the list here, I'm looking down a little bit ways, is Monster Hunter Wilds is coming.
Yeah.
Sometime in 2025.
It looks like the latter half, I think, of the year. I'm looking down the list too before you got to that one. I don't see anything, but yeah, I think that's going to come out about second half of the year. Still, it's going to be there for all the Monster Hunter fans, and they're just going to love it. Love it, love it, love it.
I'm sure we're missing some games on here. We're just kind of going down the list of what catches our eye. Another one for me that catches my eye is
Orcs
see,
Must Die, Death Trap. I've seen stuff about that one. That's going to be on Xbox only. And still, there's some
Pokemon
fans
Legends
without.
Z through A on Switch. Pretty curious to see what that actually is about and what kind of a Pokemon game it is.
Mm-hmm. That's going to do well. Absolutely.
Project Code Vampire Hunter was one that was announced. So we'll see what happens with that Switch. They did a revealed trailer. It looks pretty cool. Just a Japanese RPG style.
Oh, there's Shovel Knight. Shovel of Hope DX only for Switch. And Shovel Knight did really well when it first came out.
Yeah, Shovel Knight always was a classic game, so glad that that's coming out with a little bit more.
It might be all right.
On the
might
list.
Be all right.
Looking down again. I mean, it seems like the S is not too many that I know of. I mean, I'm not something sparking memory from the names
Starship.
of them.
If people want to go out in the stars, like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Stick
yeah,
it to
so I
the
mean, like
sti-
this is like,
I like this title. Stick it to the stick, man.
Yeah. but it's also like this is the year, like that's what it is. Like this is the year of space exploration. There's a lot of space stuff happening. There usually is every few years, but it seems like this one the most that I can recall. Let's see, was another one on here. There's a Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky,
and Trails
the
Through
first coming to
Daybreak.
Switch.
Yep. Trails Through Daybreak coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 and Switch and PC.
And then getting down to the final ones on the list, we have
Vampire. Oh,
Vampire,
you can't ignore that one.
Bloodlines 2.
That's right.
Then we also have looking at them, there's not too many that jumps out at me.
There's really not a whole lot left there because it's like it's more going to be like indie games.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, here we go. Okay, Mafia: The Old Country. Again, so this has been updated from the Game Awards. So Mafia: The Old Country is supposed to be coming out. Metroid Prime 4 is supposed to be coming out.
Yep. That's gonna be a good.
Terminator Survivors, which would be pretty cool. That's gonna be like you're battling Terminator. The Outer Worlds 2 was announced at the Game Awards.
Yes, it was.
So that one's there as well. I think we got most of the other ones here. Oh, the Snake Eater remake is supposed to be coming out. So Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is supposed to be coming out this next year as well.
That's going to do well too.
One of the ones that are on there as too, The Wolf Among Us 2 is scheduled to come out next year as well. That's going to be a great one when it does come out.
Mm-hmm.
Any other on the list, Joe, that you think might be a good one to come out?
Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Ninja Gaiden is coming back. Oh, crap. That's going to be all the nostalgia senses like all on fire right there. Let's go. So, okay, I'm not going to get it, to be honest, but still, that one's going to do really, really, really well. And really, I think that it will. I think that it will.
I'm trying to think of anything in there that I'm looking through.
I didn't see anything else.
I mean, most, like I said, most of them are ones that, really the Game of Thrones King's Road is the one I'm most interested in. And of course, it's iOS, but if it actually does come out for regular gaming, that is the one that I think is going to be very interesting because you're playing like you're in the movie or the TV show, excuse me. And so it'd be very interesting to see what happens there. But there's a lot of great games, some that we didn't even touch on, that you're like, oh, Govan, Joe, like, what the hell? You missed all this cool stuff. Why are you talking about this game? That's how it is. There's going to be games that aren't even announced yet. There also could be games they announced last year that are coming out this year because they bumped it up from 2026. We don't know. That's usually what it is. Or games out of left field that come out, and they're really good. And also, the latest WoW saga. What if that drops sometime this next coming year? That'd be pretty interesting. It probably won't, but if it does, maybe sometime in the summertime, the new WoW expansion is coming out.
We'll see.
Don't actually know. But what we do know is we'll be right back after this double hit from ourselves. Enjoy a little bit of ads, and then we'll be right back, talk about our predictions for 2025.
Want to support the show? Then why not support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thegroupquest. All proceeds go towards taking the show to the next level, and you get some cool rewards, such as access to GQ2, our After Hours mini-sode podcast, shoutouts, AMAs, and even joining us on the show as a guest. For more information on the tiers and to subscribe, head to patreon.com/thegroupquest.
Hey everybody, this is Joe, and I want to talk to you about something that I have been drinking over the past couple of weeks. SwiftEnergy.gg. Swift Energy has a lot of flavors to it. Something like I'm drinking, which is Sweet Rocket Popsicle, and it tastes really good. I cannot lie. Swift Energy that you can add to your tea, your Kool-Aid, your coffee, or you could just drink it straight up as water, which is what I do. It will give you that boost. It's got some caffeine to it, but it's still really good. There is no crash whatsoever. If you want to go check out the flavors, it's up on their site, swiftenergy.gg. In the checkout line, put in the word QUEST as the coupon code, and you will get 25% off of your purchase. That's swiftenergy.gg. Go do it. Go get it.
Fly Audible and travel the world. Listen up and settle back. We've thousands of destinations to explore. Treat your ears to an epic stay beyond the wall. Travel long haul to Mars. It'll take your breath away. How does a city break in friendly Gilead sound? Everyone's welcome. Whether it's a spellbinding trip to Hogwarts or traveling back in time to ancient Greece, we'll get you there in style. There is another way to get away. The difference is Audible.
And to support the show and get a free audiobook, visit audibletrial.com/groupquest.
And with that, we jump into Golvin's correct predictions of 2025 and Joe's incorrect predictions. But no, we have some top 5 predictions that we can see right now what's going to happen this next year. And of course, a lot of them related to maybe not necessarily the video games themselves, but what they're being played on, which of course leads into the first one, Joe, which is a 2-parter A and B. Does the Switch 2 launch in 2025? How much is it? And what is the launch game? Now, it might not be the exact game title or name, but like what would launch beside it?
Okay. Question 1. Does the Switch launch in 2025? It will be announced in 2025. It will be smart for Nintendo to say, it will be this holiday in 2025. I'm going to say that there's a 10% chance that happens, but it'll be a 90% chance that it will be announced in 2025, but the release date will be in 2026. Early first quarter 2026.
Okay.
Okay.
What about the price?
I need to look that up. So,
well, I guess what launch game would you go with it then with the price? And then I can pivot to my other.
Okay, for original console, the PlayStation 5 when it came out was about $400. So
yeah, $499 I think.
Okay, so $500 then, roughly $499, $500. I will say that Switch 2 will be $100 less than that. Usually I go on the low end of pricing, but that's because it's me. I'm going to say it's going to cost about $400 stand alone. It's going to be about $450 with Insert Mario title here. Insert Legend of Zelda title here. Okay. It's going to be a little bit further down the road for those two.
Yeah.
And of course, anything else that goes along with that. So, insert Pokemon title here. There you go, Power World. Don't doubt that. That will happen. And you know what? I would go with Pokemon than anything else because of Power World. So that's with the marrying up system. Now the platform system is going to be a little bit different. What I think Nintendo will do, because basically everybody else does it, they will announce a bunch of games on the Nintendo Direct before the announcement. The announcement day will be on a later date. You know, that'll be the initial build-up of games. The next build-up of games will be with the announcement. So I think, in my mind, early February would be a Nintendo Direct. Early February. So that would put it to a good month. February is a short month.
Yeah.
It'll go. You want to give about 4 weeks for the next announcement. Okay, when it comes to a console. And we know that according to Nintendo's financial reports, that an announcement will be made by March. I think the announcement will be made in March. Okay? So if the announcement comes in March, it'll be okay. It'll be absolutely okay.
Okay. Now, my thoughts on it.
So go for it.
Yes, it's releasing this year. It's going to be October 25th is when it's going to release. Middle, end of October. In time for the holiday season, to restock for the holiday season. It's going to be one of the hottest things for the holiday season.
Like I said, it'd be smart to do that.
Yeah. I'm picking out, this is my prediction. It's going to cost $4.99 at launch. Because it's going to have, that's when one has like all the packages. It's the bundle one with the game. So normally it's going to be $4.49 is how much it would be. I think it's going to be it's going to be basically at the lower end tier of the higher end systems with that $4.99. And the launch game is going to be, it's going to be a Mario game. We'll launch with it alongside a bunch of other games. But it's definitely going to be a Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be the one this year to launch with it. And yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be standard as far as like what they, whether games might be there as available as well to them. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It was a lot easier for me because I believe it's coming out. But I could see it though, Joe. I agree with you. I could see it delayed to 2026. Like I could see this one going into next year easily for me. But yeah, that's what I think for Switch. So yeah, Switch 2 coming out. And it's going to be pretty expensive, about $500. I think we're both close in agreement there about the average relative cost of this. And then, of course, the launch game's coming out too. The one thing about the Switch 2, I think is we're all agreement to, it's going to be an HD Switch 2 type. I could even call it the Switch HD, might be what they call it. You don't know.
Right.
Just the HD on these Switch games.
It depends what the equipment's going to be.
Exactly. But it's gonna be 4K playable, 30 FPS 4K, mostly 1080p, 60 FPS. So it's gonna be more of like a lower end gaming system. But so that's gonna be it for that. So what game is gonna fail? That's a hard one right now since we had to have a little bit of a list. But based on what we see, what is like one big game that you can see that's coming out, Joe, and you're like, wow, this is a big heavy hitter. This is a pretty big game this year, but I could see this one failing if it doesn't take off. Oh, one we didn't talk about too is Fable 4 is scheduled to launch next year as well. So that's one.
Right.
But what's one that could fail? On our list we talked about. I'll go first while you think about it. I think Elden Ring Night Rain could fail. That could be the game failure of the year because now this is the third expansion or the second DLC, the third part of the game, and it sounds like it's more around multiplaying with other people to take down big mobs. It's almost like a Monster Hunter Wild. So it could not do well, and it could end up sinking the franchise instead of expanding upon it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm picking. I'm picking Elden Ring Night Rain could be the game. What's it called? The game that will fail.
I am going to say, and hopefully I am wrong, it will be Avowed. And I would not doubt that. Because what has happened near to any or every game that we've looked at, it's been a shot in the dark on who wins. It's been a shot in the dark on who failed. Justice League, we thought was going to be a huge success. What happened? It absolutely failed. And it did. So, there is going to be that. But, I'm hoping it won't be Avowed. But there will be somebody. It could be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah, they pushed it back, but then they also bumped it up.
It could be Sid Meier's Civilization 7. That I think is the one that I'm probably most afraid of. Because if that fails, that is one company that has a lot of questions to answer if it does. And for as much success as what Sid Meier's Civilization has had with the franchise over the decades, they cannot afford to screw up. Is there pressure on them? Maybe not. But if you don't have the right amounts of pressure, what happens? You fail.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that definitely.
I'm going to say it comes in the month of February. I'm going to say it's Avowed, and hopefully I'm wrong. What do you think? What's going to be your fail?
Oh, it was Elden Ring, the expansion.
Oh, yeah, you already said it was Elden Ring. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Elden Ring Night Rain. But my second one that game that will fail, which is like one that could really fail because of how much it's propped up. Fable 4 could fail. It could fail. It's been like we've been talking about it for quite a long time, and still nothing. So like, it could fail. This one could be, and it's PC Xbox, but my guess is they're just still going to delay it more. Gears of War E-Day is also coming out supposedly this next year. That's another big one. That one could fail too because it's like a precursor, but it's a Gears of War game. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now the next one is the most hyped game on the list. I think it's pretty easy. I'll do mine. GTA 6. That's the most hyped. Everybody's talking about it. They can't wait. People have like their whole personas on like their social media platforms about GTA series. So GTA 6 obviously is the
right. But we'll be talking about this again next year.
Yeah, I'm going on the hopes that it's coming out this year. Like they've said it. It's just supposed.
Right. And we can only go on the information that we have. And right now the information points to them releasing this year. And hopefully it does. I'm going to say it's going to be Sid Meier's Civilization 7. Once again, this has been hyped, not nearly on the same level as GTA 6, but this has been a very, very hyped game. And hype games, once again, have the biggest platform to fail on.
Mm-hmm.
They do. They do. We'll see if they do or not. I mean, there's a high ceiling for it. There's a high ceiling for GTA 6. There's going to be a high ceiling for everything. Because look what happened this past year.
Yeah.
A lot of great games came out. And there are some games like Concord that was hyped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wrongfully
Mafia,
so. Wrongfully
like
so.
Metroid Prime 4 could bust and fail.
It could.
That's a hyped game that could really crash and burn. You never know.
It could. If it does, we'll let you know. Oh boy, because we'll see all the news and we'll tell it to you. We'll report on it. Yes, we will. What's hopeful?
My most hopeful game is Fable 4. Because it looks like it's that bring it back RPG. That's not a JRPG. It's a classic style game. It's a, rehashing on the old stuff. I'm hoping that it's going to be good, but I don't know. It's just, I'm hopeful that everything will work out great and it'll be one of those great games that everybody loves to play. But yeah, I'm hopeful for it, but don't know exactly what it's going to be like.
I'm going to say it's Avowed. This is an Xbox attempt at RPG. And they need more attempts at RPG because what's Final Fantasy doing? Okay, what's Square Enix doing? They're going over to PlayStation still. First. After 90 days or 3 months, 6 months, whatever, then they'll go over to other places. But they open to PlayStation first. Avowed needs to be on Xbox and stay there. And I think that you're going to see a big push from Xbox for a lot of their games, and Avowed's going to be one of them. Oh boy, because if you take a look at what Xbox has going for it over the next 6 months, they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot of Xbox only titles. They have a lot of other titles that are going to other consoles or platforms. Okay? Like Fragpunk. That's going to be on Xbox, but it's also going to be on PlayStation 5 and PC. Okay, that's just one instance. Adamfall. Yeah, that's going to be on Xbox, but that's also going to be on PlayStation and PC as well. And really, when it comes to this February, it's going to be really huge to see what Xbox does. Okay. So, like I said, I'm putting it all on Avowed.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, again, we're putting it both on kind of like RPGs that might be, one of the best of the year, but we don't know. But everything we see is making us very hopeful about, gaming going forward, and then also, what we could see on the horizons. Because right now, unlike last year, it seemed like we had a lot of more games that were being released because they all got delayed and pushed back. So we had a lot of dates and throughout the year when we did this last year. But this year it seems like it's more like a regular year where there's a ton of list sheet of games, but we don't know necessarily when they're coming out in 2025. Which then leads us into the Game of the Year award, which is, our Game of the Year. What our prediction is for next year. What's going to be the best Game of the Year? GTA 6 for me. That's going to definitely win it. Unless it fails. I mean, that's the one that would really kind of, if it's like way off key, its story doesn't really make sense, it's kind of janky, but everything, I mean, they're delaying it so much that everything sounds like it's going to be very long term. Very, very popular, very well done. So I'm picking GTA 6. What about you, Joe?
For Game of the Year? Okay, that's only saying if GTA 6 comes out next year. Well, I'm sorry. You're going to be hearing this in 2025, this year. Okay, that's only if. But let's say that it doesn't. Where does it fall to? Civilization 7 again. I think there will be arguments for Avowed. It really depends on how does it play, or how does the game play in comparison to Astrobot. Astrobot right now is the current winner of the Game Awards. Game of the Year. Astrobot had to follow Elden Ring. We know how Elden Ring did.
Mm-hmm.
So what game follows Astrobot? Sid Meier's Civilization 7. And if GTA 6 comes out this year, it will be GTA 6. But I'm giving it on the premise that GTA 6 will not be releasing this year.
Okay.
Okay. That's why I'm saying Civilization 7.
Ooh, Game of the... Do you think it's going to be
For
like...
Game of the-
Because
for Game of the
you
Year.
think it's going to be so revolutionary that it's just going to be like, wow, this completely shakes up how we think of gaming.
I think it will shake up that type of playing, the strategy type of playing. So, and if it is good enough, if it is interesting enough for the people, it's going to be on how well does the game translate to people that don't normally play the game. If it translates well, then I think it'll be fine. If it does not translate well, then, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, big games are set up to succeed or fail. Little games are also set up to succeed or fail, but when the big games do it, everybody notices. Everybody sees it. And GTA 6 could fail too. You don't know. And you don't know until a game gets in your hands. Right now, that's the 2 games of the year. That's it. Because if you look at what's coming this year, and we'll have like more games come in throughout the year outside of this list, or outside of these 2 lists that we have. It's not going to be as good of a year as what 2024 has been. 2024 was one heck of a year.
Mm-hmm.
2025, and to me, my perspective, is not going to be as good of a year as 2024 is. Trend down.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm not putting this on any presidents. I'm not putting this on any administrations, whatever. That goes to the people. You're going to have up years. You're going to have down years. And some of that's going to be predicated on what games come out for different companies. Okay. So, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2025 in all is going to be I think it's going to be a great gaming year as long as these things do come out. But like you said, if all of a sudden it doesn't come out, if GTA 6 doesn't come out,
if even things come out and they fail, it doesn't matter if they don't come out or don't come out. If they come out and they fail, then that's a whole different thing. So, once again, I'm not taking a look at it as a game is going to be here or not. Even if GTA 6 comes in, it's still not going to be as good. Year over year, it's not going to be as good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's going to be how far down do you drop? Because 2024 was one hell of a year for gaming. What's 2025 going to be? We don't know. We don't know, but we can guess. And I'm just saying, with the information laid out before me, before all of us, it's not going to be as strong of a year, GTA 6 or not. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be the year of 2020, year of GTA, or the year of GTA failing. It could be the year of the Switch 2, or the year of the Switch 2 not coming out. We could see these two, both the two hyped thing coming out. GTA Switch 2, is it coming out? And I'm saying yes, you're saying no. But it, it could be that way. And then what was the price you said? I forgot. I didn't have that written down. The price you said for
Switch 2?
Switch 2?
I said I'm guessing about $400 and $450 for a game attached to it. Okay. So basically, Switch 2 has been around the price line of the previous Xbox or PlayStation consoles. Both consoles, upon their release, was around $400 or $500. I'm sorry, $500. And the subsequent Switch was cheaper than that. Okay? By $50 to $100. So, if you put it on $100, okay, that's how I came up with $400. Okay, $400. So, it's going to be interesting to see when it does come out. I don't know. We'll find out, and when we find out, you will know.
Yes.
You will know.
But with that, we'll close out the year and look forward to 2025 and the start of the show when we get back from our little break there. So, Joe, where can people find you on the internet?
Twitch.tv/JoeSpace, Twitch.tv/StackUp.org, and at Joe Brums on Twitter and on Blue Sky. Golvin, where can we find you?
On Twitter at GoldenVersus, YouTube.com/GoldenVersus, Twitch.tv/Golden, of course, MonkcraftPodcast.com, where I talk about some Monk stuff there. And if you want to reach the show, it's show@thegroupquest.com, Twitter at GroupQuest, Patreon.com/thegroupquest, and of course, Twitch.tv/JohnForge, where every Saturday from 2:30 to 5:30 Pacific, 5:30, 8:30 Eastern, and SwiftEnergy.gg, where you can use our promo code QUEST, QUEST, for 25% off your next order. Again, that's SwiftEnergy.gg, promo code QUEST, and you can get that right now for your New Year resolution to buy more Swift Energy. And then for myself and for Joe, we'll see you on the other side of a Happy New Year and in 2025. There you go.
That was one heck of a catch of Jeremiah Smith. Damn. Touchdown, Ohio State. Woo!
Game's over. GG.
7-0. I gotta go get my laundry.
Marched right down, and then threw a bomb for a touchdown. Well, not bomb, but like a long throw.
Just dropped it right down. Like he had to readjust to catch the ball. and the ball did not hit the ground. Wow. Hooey. Let's hope the defense shows up now.
So Notre Dame. So basically, so far, what it looks like is that it's coming out exactly like I predicted. Texas, Arizona State. It's going to be Ohio State, Oregon rematch. I said SMU to upset Penn State because it was a big game, but nope. Penn State came to play.
No. Penn State
blew
showed
right over
up.
them. So I think what's going to be is if that continues the trend, it's going to be Notre Dame, Penn State in the semifinal, and then it's going to be. I think it's going to be Oregon still, but then with so much time left, like they're playing here, and then they're going to play in 2 weeks against almost 2 weeks, week and a half against Oregon. Oregon might be cold. They might be cold by then. You never know. But I still pick Oregon to win. I just think they're so strong still, and they have a victory over them. So it could be 49-48 game. It could be one kick, or it could be is Ryan Day in his bag of losing. But we'll see. This game just started, so.
The game just exactly.
But I think it's gonna be. I think after today's game, it's definitely gonna be Arizona State. So it's gonna be. I'm saying Oregon, Arizona State, which would be a Pac-12 rematch from 2 years ago, and then it's gonna be Oregon versus Notre Dame in the final.
All right.
I think Notre Dame's just gonna go right into the final. They have the easiest pathway to get to the final. I think the only way that Georgia's gonna win is if their defense literally does not allow Notre Dame to score points, and they score points and turnovers. Because the Georgia offense is terrible. Like I was not impressed by them.
It really does depend if what Georgia's quarterback is going to play or not.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like I'm not impressed by their offense.
We'll see.
So we'll see. I'll let you go, Joe.
Yep, we got to end the stream.
We'll be in touch. We'll